It's the self-existent one. And we as the messengers of Yah, we got to tell Yahweh's people, there's something in scripture that Yah says, and when you do this, you lose friends. I've lost plenty of so-called family and friends in Yahweh. He says in his word that the priests did not disclose unto Yisrael their sins. See, we pass by stuff, we let it go. Well, that's my cousin, man. That's something. I got a cousin in the name of Yah, my mother's side of the family. In fact, 2 of them. And one cousin, he came here before. He's a little older than me, but he was wild. He was good and wild. He'd been out with them camps and all. And when he came here and he saw how we sort of like straitjacketed him, and I'm going to bind that wild spirit. Calm down. And this is family. I can say it. He didn't really come back anymore. But I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about where he had been and what he had been through, and all among all of Yahweh's people. I'm very careful how I speak against us in the name of Yah and the things we do. We're Yahweh's people. Moshe says something to Yisrael that angered Yahweh, and it caused him to not make it to the promised land. Most of us think, oh, he ain't going to be in the king. Stop right there. He didn't get to the literal land that Yahweh had given them. He let him see it, but he didn't cross over. He'll get there in the kingdom age. We have to remember that. So my cousin is disgruntled now with the way a lot of the Hebrews conduct themselves, because he went away and said, a lot of the stuff you said, I didn't forget any of it. I just looked at it and I searched it now and I checked it, and I see that a lot of them, they don't believe in this and they don't believe in that. And you were right and this, that, and the other. And can I come up there? So some of the doors of Yah's assembly swing on welcome hinges to all of Yah's people. But Yah has order. He has discipline. He has regulations. We simply seek to abide by Yah's rules. When you're going through that wild stuff, okay, you ain't going to be hooting and hollering at the sisters of Kakar and all that other stuff. I'm telling you, we're going to conduct ourselves like the men in Yisrael, and conduct ourselves like the women of Yisrael, like the sons and daughters of Yah. Amen. We have to do that. We're royalty. You got some people in England, trash, but they're pretending to be you. They're waiting on the appointed time. Step out, take claim to the land and all that, proclaim they're the chosen one. They're waiting on all that. But being the trash that they are, they're highly polished. They're well disciplined. They ain't getting out of hand any kind of way. Oh yeah, a few years ago one of them got out of hand. Well, they sure enough choked them up. You know how parents get you I'm talking about the old parents, I'm talking about the newfangled parents, the older parents. You know, the one that jacked you up and talked to you through their teeth. You remember those type parents? So now look, he's running something to you, and you get in here and you sit down in there. Yeah, sometimes parents had that look. My dad had that look. He had them little Superman eyes. I was a child, young in the assembly, cutting up. My back was turned. All other little children, they figured it out real quick. I could feel this heat on my back. Cutting up, and I'm thinking, he looking, ain't he? And all I'm be like, yes. Suddenly I have the spirit to sit down. And I sit right there. And then I peep over my shoulder, look at him, and he was just like this. It was the look. And the look sent 2 signals at the same time. And the signals were, number 1, get somewhere and sit down. And number 2, I'll see you later. Yep. You hear me? Young people don't know nothing about that today. They get their parents to look. And the parents be like, he's looking, ain't he? We don't equate our relationship with Yahweh like that of a loving parent overseeing their children. We don't see it like that. We want the whole world to acknowledge us for being Yisrael, but we won't acknowledge Yahweh for making us Yisrael. 2nd Ezra teaches us carefully that Yahweh reminded him of something so beautiful that if you ever really sit down and just consider it, it'll make you cry. He said to him, it was in my mind to form you as a nation before I laid the foundation of the world. Think about that. Adam wasn't a Hebrew, so don't start there, okay? They came, everybody Hebrew came along after Abraham. Am I correct? You should know the book well enough to understand that. They were the original people of the earth, and they did not look like Joe Biden. How's that? Is that smooth enough to get it over the line? Anyway, before all of them ever walked the face of the earth, he already had it in his mind. I am going to make a nation, and I'm going to give them the rules of life. And the rules will be so strict that just adherence to the rules, hear me on this point, just the adherence to these rules, these high quality spiritual principles, when kept by this nation and all other nations who will hear them, the rules are so powerful that it will change their entire social and spiritual makeup. Y'all ain't hear that. Rules that are so powerful, it will change your DNA. Remember in Revelation, he talks about the 7 new things that he's going to create. One of the new things is a new people. Okay, everybody that died in Yeshua HaMashiach, they get a new creature. They have we'll use the word today, a glorified body. A body now that cannot sin. It is restricted from sin. Are you hearing me? And it is all because of his word, the Tabar. It is all because of Yeshua, his word. You hear me? Yes. We got to know that. So that as we keep it, we ain't looking for no recognition in the world, okay? You all right? We ain't looking for no recognition. The Lamentations of Jeremiah chapter 2. Let's go into this. Let's peep at this real quick. I'm going to take my time with this. I've oftentimes said to us as Yisrael, specific things in Yah's word and in the life of Yisrael, if by chance it doesn't move you, or some of this stuff you're not moved to tears, it's because you're really not paying attention to it like you ought to. There are things in Yahweh's word that you'll see that touch on you yourself privately. Is it that was the word of the day, private? Look, now you won't look at me. hey, I love you. You know me and you talk, right? We there? We there, right? Okay. There are things in Yahweh's word that will touch upon us and touch us privately in such a way that even in the privacy of our own home, that word will lift one up so immensely that a lot of the social problems that we have as a people, we ain't going to keep going through it because Yah will bring you through it. Stop looking for that great, grand, and miraculous blessing in life where now you serve Yahweh and all my troubles are over. I skip to work each day. I don't even so much as stump my toe. Cut it out. We are reminded that we will enter into the kingdom of Yahweh with much tribulation. We're reminded of that. What we don't remind ourselves of is that Yahweh is faithful and will not forget those that are his, because he said he would never leave you nor forsake you. Hallelujah. No disrespect to you, Yisrael, but I'm going to say this now because see, a lot of you all are calling me, and I try to take all the calls in Yisrael I can. But sometimes Yahweh will speak to you in a way where he slowed things down and you don't understand what he did. But you remind people, I don't care what you think of me, keep this point in mind. I am not Yeshua. So you can't give me the praise. You can't give me none of it. You got to give it all to Yahweh Yeshua. Am I correct? So much so that you don't have to call me with every little teeny, tiny, petty little thing. Some of this stuff you already know the answer to. You just don't want to do what the prescription says. That's us. Come on. Confess it. Say it. That's us. We are the people of Yahweh, but we want everything here and now. If we got everything we wanted here and now, what's the first thing will happen to us? Somebody said fall away. Okay, that's close to what I'm looking for. But first thing we would do, we wouldn't pray no more. You wouldn't pray like you ought to pray. Okay? Because we have everything. If we had everything we want, we forget about it. That's why he warned us even in food. First thing he said to us when we got into the land, he said, be careful now, take heed to yourself, lest you eat and be full and forget Yahweh. Now, ain't that what he said? Yes. Lest you eat and be full and forget Yahweh. You know how I ate that, and I'll even say that itis kick in. What, you getting fresh water? Didn't give me some, told her. Yeah, I told you. So, we would forget Yahweh and would not pray. I'm telling you, Yisrael, the things that are written in Yahweh's word, as the book of the Romans says, were written for our learning. I've watched men preach and teach, and I pay attention to this thing they do. A lot of the generation, I'm gonna take my generation, 50 years of age and under. I'll tell you what they do. They got this real sophisticated process. You can spot a false prophet. If you sit in a conversation with him, you can spot him inside. And you don't need the whole 5 minutes. If you know Yahweh, I'm stretching it out. Inside of the first 5 minutes, you can spot them because it's this one thing they all do that the word says that they would do. Now, I know y'all looking at me saying, what is it, Al John? Nah, you're going to have to finish listening to the lesson because it's going to be encoded in the lesson. I ain't going to tell you nothing. So, the younger generation, they all are anxious and willing to go teach, right? They want to go teach. But it's stuff we got to read. We got to learn it. You got to lock it in. And then you get the right in Yahweh to master this so that it comes into play at any given time. So much so that you don't have to guess. You don't have to bluff. You don't have to BS. The word will free flow. Remember that promise Yah made to Yisrael? In the book of Isaiah, he says, quote, my words that I put in your mouth shall not depart out of your mouth, nor out of the mouth of your seed, nor out of the mouth of your seed's seed. Olam. I like the Hebrew olam because when you look up forever, so dictionary I got back there is funny. It says forever. It says forever and ever. Now, when you read that, it's almost like they're saying, what do you mean? Why are you looking in here for the definition of forever? It means forever, stupid. That's the way it's laid out. But when you look at the Hebraic expression, O-L-A-M, olam, forever, it transcends all time, space, and place. It goes out of the mind and the construct of man, able to put a limitational time frame on it. Isn't that far more beautiful? Yes. It's so circular in Yahweh that it was before it ever was. If that even makes any sense to you. Let me pause on that. That's how bad our Elohim is. Hallelujah. You all got to think on that one. Dr. Barashango used to say something that would baffle a lot of people. Coming up under my father and studying the Torah like we did, he would say this in his speeches and lectures, and it would throw most of the people off. They was all into the black power thing, the Afrocentric stuff. But Barashango knew the scriptures. He knew of Yahweh, Yahshua. He knew all that very well. But he had this statement he would always make. He would say, time never was when the black man did not exist. And people didn't catch what he meant. Because he took it beyond you and me as men and women. He went far beyond that. He went to the Ancient of Days. Before the beginning of a day and a time construct ever was, Almighty Yah exists outside of the time construct that he himself created. See, most of the world can't get into that. They try to limit the Almighty and put him in a time frame or a historical reference point or something, and immediately they go wrong. Yisrael has him from everlasting to everlasting, because before he formed any of this, he knew every dynamic of every aspect of your being, every atom, every molecule, every granule of hair, every aspect of your very being, every piece of dandruff that would ever exist, whether it existed and fell off your head in 72 or 89, he knew of it all. Who would want to mess up a relationship with a power like that? This is why it's so easy to obey him when you come to understand who he is. And this is what I watch Yisrael struggling with all the time. Today's message is not a rebuke, it is an exhortation. It is designed to simply uplift, but in the process, if the word of Yahweh rebukes you, me, us, him, them, faint not at the rebuke of Yahweh. Because if you faint in the day of Yahweh's rebuke, your strength is weak. Okay? Go back and get some strength. You hear what I say? That's all you got to do. Lamentations 2:1. How hath Yahweh covered the daughter of Zion with cloud in his anger, and have cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Yisrael, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger. Now that one little verse says a lot. That's a lot. Yahweh got so angry with Yisrael, the daughter of Zion, he covered us with the cloud in his anger, and cast us down, and cast down from the heaven unto the earth the beauty of us as a people. This is what we want now. We want to be seen. We want to be beautiful. We want the whole world to acknowledge us and recognize us. You ever watch some of our brothers, they come out of the jail system, what have you, they done sat down 5 years, 10 years, whatever the time. Now you got a number of time on your hand. I've never understood this, but you're in prison now, you got a number of time on your hand. Now you sit down finding the scriptures, and they come out a holy man. But isn't there the same exact amount of time on the street that there is in prison? So you were so distracted that you couldn't find Yahweh, and he had to sit you down in order to get your attention. But it's the same amount of hours in the day wherever we go, same amount of seconds in the minute wherever you go. Am I correct? So now they go to these courthouses and they talk tough to these judges and they shoot the word of Yahweh out there with no power. They're articulating it, but with no real power, because we're trying to make a people acknowledge us who have not acknowledged ourselves in Yahweh first. Are you hearing me? See, there is such a power in obeying Yahweh that it's not in the tongue. It's in the very presence of his Ruach upon us, such that sometimes you don't have to say anything. Are you hearing me? I was in a store the other day, little man, he was rude, talking all loud on the phone, this, that, and I would come right there, and then just the line started here. He gonna cut right there. So I'm thinking to myself, and then the way this looks, they're calling people to the register. By the time it gets to me, watch, I be the very one that he wants to cut in front of. Now I'm watching it. I'm calculating the steps. Forgive me, y'all. I'm a bit of a bookworm. The little squares on the floor there, 1 foot by 1 foot. So that's the square foot. So now this is what I'm doing. I'm counting the tile. I'm standing looking where I'm at. Counting the tile. I'm saying, it's 18 tile for me to the register. It's 9 from where he is to the register. Said if I move up and they move up, we're going to meet up right there. I had already calculated. I said, we're going to meet up right there. I said, now I'm going to see just what he's going to do, because I realized out of all the people in the store, this is the spiritual condition now. What made you target that spot, that position, that man, so that when it worked out, we're going to hit just like that? I said to myself, then this is the devil. See, little stuff like that, Shaitan try us in. And in our minds, it's nothing to get back to the line. It's nothing to do that. Immediately I knew, I said, now this is racism to the core, because he's going to try to pull this off. I said, I'm going to ask Yahweh to work it the way he see fit. Little man took all of the people there. He took all the people there. It's my turn. I get there. He's right there. Little man behind the cash register says, my friend, I've been watching you for the last 2-3 minutes. The line starts back there. You think we're going to let you disrespect this man and get in front of? And I said to myself, total Yahweh. Didn't have to say a thing. Now I'm using that one example for everything in life that we as Yahweh's people go through. And if we learn to calm down, you reduce that restriction of your capillaries and arteries blood flow and all. You know how you get hyper, get upset. People push themselves into strokes and they think they just get mad, right? They lack that old man patience. They got that young people wrath and anger. You get what I'm going with this? We have to be patient enough to learn to wait on Yahweh. And the reason Yahweh don't move is because a lot of times we're just simply not learning the lesson. So then Yahweh let us go through it time after time after time. Well, we want the whole world to see us now. My head wrapped up. I got on my Hebrew shoes this week or whatever it is. It's not in the clothing. I'm not knocking us in our clothing. Come on. We're not making nothing. Any Hebrew toilet paper manufacturers? See, we talk too much stuff. We can't even clean up behind ourselves, right? If that make any sense. But sorry to be so blunt, but I got to get it across however I can so you understand. Y'all took all that from us. So today we declare it and don't have it. But yet, Yeshua says we're going to have to forsake some things. Father, mother, husband, wife, son, daughter. In order to receive something greater. When it comes to salvation, what do I always say? That's the one thing in life where you have the absolute right to be completely selfish. There is no comfort in going to hell because you love some loved ones. Ain't no comfort in that. This is eternal. Yah even warns us, do not fear them that have power to kill the body. And after that, have no power, but fear him that is able to destroy both soul and body and cast it into hell. So if we want to make it, we got to look at Yahweh's word carefully. Here in this first verse, notice how he cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Yisrael. See, this is why the nations don't recognize us today. You know, everybody, come on, man. You got Beyonce taking it off, shake what your mother gave you. You got Nas X kissing boys. You got all this stupid stuff going on. Whereas some of us are the sons and daughters of the prophets. And Yahweh ain't saving all of even Yisrael. We get so religious when we go around now trying to save everybody. The apostles even preaching to the Gentiles, they told the Gentiles, you be careful. He says, save yourselves from this untoward generation. What exactly is untoward? Yes, wicked, so that they're undeserving of Yahweh's mercy. It's not on us to make the call, but it's on Yahweh. Are you hearing me? This is why he says, save yourself. Meaning now, you can't keep on trying to roll with them just for sake of friendship. To hell with the friendship. I'm telling you right now, okay? You have to do what Yah commands. And it does not automatically make you enemies to some people. Because see, sometimes you can remain neutral with people. Now, I ain't saying you taking down. It's just you in this frame of mind where you like, all right, I ain't coming to the family reunion. I ain't coming to the cookout. I ain't coming to this, that, no. Yeah, hey, man, you still my cousin. You always going to be my cousin. Look, I won't be there. I'll be at the temple. This way I'm at. Yeah. And you only had no fight with them. A lot of us are having fights and frictions with family. Sometimes really because we want to. And you know why we really want to? Because we want them to know we're righteous. Okay, but here's the real question. What difference does it make? What difference? Okay, you're righteous. To them, what difference does it make? They'll walk right up and give me $20. I got a cousin like that. He do his little thing, okay, and he got this habit. Every time he said, give me $10, give me. I got so sick of it, I developed the perfect plan to shut him down. Every time I see him, I ask him first, hey man, come here, man, give me $10, give me $10. And that busts it up. Tell you, it works. So we don't want, as Yisrael, to make no more enemies in the world than we already have. Because the whole world is gearing up against you. They're coming after you. We got plagues walking the earth. Yahweh said he's sending angels that will be able at the appointed time to smite this earth with plagues as often as they will. We're dealing with the coronavirus plague. Call it what you want to call it, virus, all this stuff. It is a plague. And whatever it is, Abba Yahweh allowed it. We got more stuff coming. They got their population control. They got their no jab, no job stuff going. You got enough enemies that have not prioritized their focus on you yet. What you don't want to do is just keep watering unnecessary enemies that will emerge. Let them emerge in their own time. You hear what I'm saying? Don't go fanning the flames of the fire. Let that emerge as it emerges, because right now you have to perfect your working in Yahweh in order to make it in. That's what Yisrael got to work on. You hear what I say? That's what we as the people of Yahweh got to work on. Right now we are playing with Yahweh and got so much stuff going on, so many issues. My father said many years ago, and I remember the day he said it, I just kind of looked at him because I couldn't see it or couldn't imagine what he was describing. Here I am now, 23 years later, and I'm like, who, how in the world did Yahweh let him see that? He said to me, you're going to have it a lot rougher and a lot harder in the ministry than I did, so you might as well prepare yourself. Yahweh will be with you, but you better prepare yourself, because you got to deal with some stuff in this age coming. And 2-3 years later, he'd fallen asleep in the Messiah. But the way in which he said it was so profoundly spiritual, you could feel the eeriness of it. I try not to cut this thing here off, because a lot of times I do try to be available. I remember years ago I made a prayer. I asked Yahweh. I've had this number over 26 years. I asked Yahweh, if it be your will. Back then I was Assistant Elder Johnson and teaching as deacon, running just everything Deacon Reggie does. I did the same thing. And got a phone. And I asked Yahweh, if it be your will and I got to work for you in Yisrael, then in this day and age of technology, make a way that I keep the phone on. So I had the same number for 26 years at AT&T. I've been with them so long, I can get anything I want. Just grandfather clause, all this stuff. Been there that long. So I try not to cut this thing off, because I got this habit there. However I set it on silent in the Assembly of Yah and all that way. Ain't got to be ringing while I'm teaching. But I'll take a person's call as best I can. I'm hyperactive. I've been hyper all my life. I have extra energy. I can get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning and rip and run, do my work, do Yahweh's work, do everything I got to do it all day long. And 1:30, 2 o'clock, I might still be sitting up reading something, and then lay down, go to sleep, and boom, pop right back up 5 o'clock and keep on moving. But that don't mean call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. Or 4 o'clock in the morning. So I used to run a broadcast here in Baltimore. We were on the airwaves. Now what the radio station, they were sneaky. They were building up ratings. At the time, the program director gave me this slip that she wasn't supposed to give me. But she was showing me the ratings of how it's broadcast. They run it on the internet, and it was heard around the country, different places. And it was showing where your rankings were in all of the different programs. And I was like number 7 out of 40-some different programs. I was number 7 for the longest time. I was like, wow, number 7, that ain't bad. Okay. But the phone would ring 4 o'clock in the morning sometime. Because what they would do, we were on Wednesday, they would run the program 4 a.m. in the morning on Thursdays or Friday. So when people hear me get a number, they up, listen to the radio, they call, hey, I got a question for that man. So I ain't on the air no more, so told y'all I don't get the 4 a.m. call. But I'm going to be honest, and I'm not disrespecting you, Yisrael, but I'm going to be honest now. I got a disturbing set of phone calls earlier in the week. Dear family in Yisrael, they had some problems. They up 2 something in the morning. I roll over. I didn't put it on silent. I look at it. It wasn't a number I recognized. I was like, all right, well, in reality, whoever it is, this can wait till the morning. Silenced it. Roll back over. 5 minutes later, go off again. I look, number. I said, I ain't going to take it. And of course, I peeped to my left to see had I disturbed anybody with the phone. I did, but get the 3rd call. So with the 3rd call, I get up in the morning at 6 a.m. and I look at it. I said, somebody called me. It must have been emergency. Y'all willing? I prayed that whatever their problem, their trial may be, help them along the way until you give me the ability to return the call. So later that day, I text back, who is this? That's all I said. I got the response back and all that. And I began to play the message or messages. And I got to say straight out, you listen to me on the channel, and I'm going to be forthright with you because Yah says that the priesthood, they have not disclosed Israel's sins. I'm going to put this out. Not to embarrass you, I'm going to call your name. First of all, I don't know what the hell you are doing as Hebrews, that you got to be up fighting at 2 a.m. in the morning. Go to bed. Yahweh loves us so much, he gave us something very unique. Take advantage of it. He says in the word, he giveth his beloved sleep. Go to bed. That way you ain't got to call and think that the elder can solve a problem, because see, more often than not, and this message is a result of that and a lot of other calls I've received. More often than not, we as Yisrael, we really don't want the messages of Yah to tell us the truth or to mediate these disputes or to help us. You want us to say what you want to hear. And I ain't that kind of preacher. I ain't going to say what you want to hear. I'm that kind of preacher you'll get mad at me and won't talk to me no more, because I'm going to say what thus saith Yahweh. And I say that we can ameliorate a lot of our family problems, a lot of our domestic violence, a lot of our in and out of jail, a lot of our lustful behavior. We can eliminate these things if we do what thus saith Yahweh. Yahweh didn't make us to forever have all these hardships and trials and tribulations, but we're going to go through it until the time is up. I walk around on the job all day. I got this man, he works with me. I stopped one day after several months of this, and I said, you ever been in the military? No, I've been in jail a couple times. I said, that wasn't what I asked you. So I asked, had you been in the military? And that was a yes or no answer. He can ask me at any given time of the day, what time is it? 9 o'clock? 9:05? He doesn't wear a watch. He leaves his phone in his truck. And I can stop and look at my watch. And every time he is right on the money. Months. He does it every day. So I'm saying to myself, and I'm saying this to you all in humor, if you can tell time that good, why don't you just say to yourself, it's got to be at least 9 o'clock, and keep it moving? Because it doesn't make the day go any faster by constantly asking me what time it is, and you are within a minute or two. All day, every day. And I told him, I don't need to wear a watch because you are so precise. I don't know how the hell you do it, but you are so precise. We're going to agree to let it be whatever time you guess that it is, because you're usually right. And I said it in humor because, believe me, you all, it's funny. I'm telling you, I don't know how he does it, but he does it. But he's watching the clock all day. And the day don't go no faster. And we get off at 3:30, and then the funniest thing happens. He's always working 3 or 4 minutes over. So I said, look, man, your ticker is broke. Something's off, because you every day you 2-3 minutes over. You're precise when it's lunchtime. You're precise when it's break time. You're precise when you think it's 11:05. But when it's time to leave, I always got to come looking for you, let you know, hey, man, it's time to go. He just laughs. He gets a kick out of it. And believe me, it's funny. But I'm bringing this up because I need to make a point. We need to be that accurate or time precise with Yahweh when we transgress the Torah, when we mistreat one another, when we disrespect each other. It's not hard to say, you know what, I did that brother wrong. It's time to repent. You know, I shouldn't have said that to my sister. I shouldn't have said it to my daughter. I shouldn't have said it to my wife. Shouldn't have said it to my brother. It's time to repent. We got to get that accurate with the word. This whole chapter of the Lamentations here calls us out. And it's so beautiful how it calls us out. Listen to what Yahweh says here. Verse 2. Yahweh has swallowed up all the habitations of Yaakov. Every household, Yahweh swallowed us up. All of us, okay? And have not pity. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Yehudah. Let's stop with this phrase right here, the daughter of Yehudah. Yahweh is referencing us as a nation, like a precious daughter. Father loves and cherishes his daughter. I'm a father. I got 3 boys and 1 daughter. And by her being the only girl. Yes, I'm protective of her in ways where I'm not as protective of the boys. I taught the boys to be men. I said specific things. I laid specific things out. I remember when my father was passing away, he held a conversation with me. It was 7 of us. It were 4 boys and 3 girls. The oldest girl, she passed a while ago. My father was telling me something. He was instructing me about something that he had intended to do. He had a little car, a little Mercury. He said to me, you can have that. You're doing the work of the ministry. You're going to need that to get back and forth to do Yahweh's work. So after I'm gone, I want you to have that. And I understood that. That's that type of conversation no child wants to have with their parent. We don't want to talk about you dying. No, y'all willing, you'll be here with me forever and ever. That's how we think. He says to me, but I want the girls to have the house. Because you all are men. I told you how to be men. You're married. You have your families or what have you. You know how to provide for yourselves. But in the event the daughters don't have husbands or anything of that nature, I want them to have the house so that they will not scramble for a roof over their head. And that made perfect sense to me. Because this is a man that knew how to make a preservation for his daughters in the constructs or confines of a society where we don't respect our women anymore. So I perfectly understood his will. This is the same way that Yah is taking care for Yisrael as a nation. Because remember, he refers to Yeshua as his son. Am I correct? Did he not find a bride for his son? Are we not the bride to the bridegroom? So you see how Yah protects Yisrael. And he lets us know now. He threw us down and he didn't pity. He thrown down his wrath, the strongholds of the daughters of Yahudah. He hath brought them down to the ground, and hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. See, that's the young men. It's the mind of the young men today. They don't have a mind for marriage. They don't have a mind for fatherhood. We have a mind now to hustle. We have a mind for sex. We have a mind for smoking blunts. And if we go to prison, we got a mind how when I'm in there, I can make it work. Send me something. Put something on my book. Hook me up, homie. Let's get the hookup going. We're going to make some wine. They get in jail and they're so innovative, they make wine out of bread. Wow. That's serious, ain't it? Some of us can't even make toast with the toaster oven sitting right there. He get in jail. He make wine. And they get drunk. They got this thing in there. When we went to Jessup House of Corrections in 98, I think it was, we were going in and out of the prisons teaching the brothers. And I said something to the brothers and they all froze. I said to the brothers as I was shutting down my presentation, I said, oh yeah, this was on a Wednesday. And I said, now Friday coming. And I'm going to tell you all, whatever's going on in the city, at your home, what have you, all that's going on up there is just going on. You all need to stop going uptown on Friday nights. And it was about 400 of them. They was like, you could see the whole auditorium at the time saying that everybody was like, how he know about that? Let me tell you what going uptown is about. In these hotels, I don't know how the Gideons did it, but the Gideons nationwide work this deal with most of the hotels, but they get to put the Gideon Bible in the hotels. And it's this real fresh style paper that they're printed with. And the brothers will write home and ask their family, get them a Bible, preferably the Gideon's Bible. Because when you get the Gideons, it burns flawlessly, freely, so that as they're smoking their weed or their reefer, I told them myself by saying reefer, nobody can call it reefer no more, do they? But anyway, as they're smoking their weed, their blunts or whatever, the paper burns so freely that they get 100% of their weed. And then they can lay back and reflect about all the things that go on uptown. You've seen that in the movie, what was that? Life, where they was all reminiscing, talking about the boom, boom, room, what he was going to do and all this stuff. And the God came in and told them, shut up, and bust up their dream. Well, this is reality for men. So when I said that, they were shocked that somebody on the outside knew about tearing a page out of the scriptures and going uptown. So as I began to tell them about Daniel and the prophecies in Isaiah and how Yah said he would shut us up in the prison houses and all these things, the brothers were amazed. And they wanted us to come back. Not once a month, but once a week. So it was all structured. So we were in the jail teaching them. In jail, you all need to Learn how to shut down. Keep Shabbat. Do this, do that, and the other. We were teaching them this stuff. And pretty soon it wasn't long before the house corrections was like, hey, look here now. You ain't coming down here with that. Elder Johnson passed away in July of 1998. And it was around that time when they were working on getting us out of there, not coming in talking to the brothers. We had quelled jailhouse beefs and all these little rivalries. We'd gotten them under a greater level of control by teaching about the word. You could see how Shaitan attacked, shut it down so we couldn't go. When Elder Johnson passed, they sent us a card that they had made in prison. And a card probably about as big as that sign there that says Messiah, Light of the World. So if you can imagine those oversized cards, and practically every brother in that section of that jail had signed it, thanking Elder Johnson for sending me into the prison to at least teach them. Because they got wind of his passing, and it was something that kind of like break you down and really make you cry. Not like you weep, but certain things for Yisrael touch me, and you all might pick that tremor up in my voice. Because like Jeremiah the prophet, if what we're doing to Yahweh and what we see each other doing, if it don't impact you, somehow, somewhere, you're a bit too selfish in not understanding the word. It's perfectly fine to feel for and care for one another. But when we're overstepping the boundaries and we got all sorts of sin going on now, nobody can back you up. I can't back you brothers up when you're wrong, you're mistreating the women or your families, or you're not providing, you're smoking and you're drinking. All I can't back you up in that. But if we all notice, give me the name of one person in America right now. Give me the name. Any preacher anywhere in America right now, Hebrew I'm talking, that went to prison for preaching out of the scriptures. You understand? Our brothers, Alpo Martinez, can't get a better example. He got killed this week. So, now they're making an Elohim out of him. A man that confessed to 14 murders, some of the cruelest, most brutal things going. He confessed to all that, got out and expected to live forever, and then got killed over fornication. All this other stuff. That's what they going to jail for. Drugging, robbing, thugging, killing, stealing. But now, in a society right now, they ain't picking on you yet. None of us have resisted, like the scripture says, striving unto death for the word. Men ain't going to jail for preaching the truth now. They won't even really go into jail and preach the truth. But our brothers are going for every silly, stupid little thing now. While you, look, Yisrael, let's be honest. They hate us. Yeah, we know that. But let's be real. Look, all of us out here today, all of us at home, gathered online today, they ain't stopped you right now. They have not oppressed you. They have not killed you just for the sake of the name. So what's the holdup? What's the preventer from us drawing closer to Yahweh? Prayer is energy. It is a power. It goes up and it is recognized by Yahweh. He combines that with the analogy of the smell of sweet incense coming up before him. You mean to tell me, if it ain't no more than, let's minimize. Pick a number. Give me a number. Quick.
7.
No, give me a little more than that. It's more of us in here than that. 2,000. I try to make it real. Let's see. If there ain't no more than 2,000 Hebrews nationwide, imagine all of them praying at the same time about the same issue, having the same heart and the same mind and the same level of obedience to Yahweh. You think he's going to ignore it?
No.
So now imagine 20,000 of us doing it. 500,000. Let's break it back down. All right, my math geniuses, quick hands, we at. Everybody's an English major now. See, I need somebody to count real quick. Everybody, no, I majored in English. I'm sitting on my hand. Anyway, y'all are something. I love you truly, y'all. Ain't get being embarrassed me. I need somebody. They know. Anyway, y'all ready? The scripture says, "How should one chase 1,000?" That's power. Y'all would just grapple with such a power. They go walking somewhere, 1,000 wicked, evil people there. They feel your presence. They're like, oh, you know, I'm gone. I'm gonna get out of here. You may not look like a mass killer to them. It's just the power of Yahweh. Righteousness will overcome wickedness any given day if we understand it. So now one can chase 1,000. Two can then put 10,000 to flight. I asked for 2,000. Those 2,000 done shut the whole world down. I ain't even done the math. You get where I'm going with this? So when I say to Yisrael, today's topic is Yisrael's embarrassment for disobedience and hypocrisy. This is why Yahweh ain't answering our prayer, because we praying with him. Okay, you woke up, you're a Hebrew now. All right, that's cool. You know, I woke up the other day and I was hungry. Did I get a reward for being hungry? Well, yes, I did, because she did I say thank you then? She fixed awesome breakfast for me, but anyway, so bad example, but good example. But we act as, okay, now we woke, now we got to give us something. Okay, we got to do something. You get a job. Let me show you about faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, right? Let's flip that and take it right to the world. You got a job. You have faith in this man that he gonna pay you, right? Your faith is the substance of things hoped for. You're hoping for your money, right? He give you a check. The check is now the evidence of the thing you have yet to see, which is the money, right? All right, so now that's how we do. We do a week in a hole, 2 weeks in a hole. Some jobs require a month. Now here you got a job, Hebrew. You work for the best employer in all the universe. He requires a lifetime in a hole. And you scared to trust him. Y'all getting this? Yes. He's guaranteed you the gift of eternal life. No sickness, no pain, no sorrow. Let's jump real quick to something. I want you to hear this in Revelation. I ain't going there, I'm going to quote it. He talks about the trees that are on this side and that side of the bank of the river. And he says that the trees are there for the healing of the nations. That ain't talking about you. These trees are there in the kingdom age when Yahshua has to reign for that 1,000 years for the Gentiles who have 1,000 years to go through what you're going through. They got to take the yoke. They got to learn up. Remember, we never took this word to the whole world. We never subdued it all. We never fully possessed the kingdom that Yahweh gave to Israel in its entirety. If you study the scripture like you ought to, keep in mind, the kingdom of Israel expanded, but as an empire, it never possessed all the land in its fullness like Yahweh intended for them to do, because our kings kept sinning. What was it? 30-some kings in Israel? 33, I think it was, in Israel? Failure. 9 in Yahudah or something to that effect that were righteous. I forget exactly the number. I got it somewhere. But anyway, trying to make a point. Israel and Yahudah, the different kings, we kept failing. So Yahweh withdrew portions and parts of his blessings, like the verse says he did here. He got angry. He threw down our beauty to the earth, so the world don't look at us like that now. But when they get up, unlike those that came to Yahshua worrying about the 7 brothers that married the woman, they wanted to know whose wife she going to be in the kingdom age. He told them something. He said, you're in error. You don't understand the word. For in the kingdom of Yahweh, they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but they should be like Malachim. You got to remember, another portion of scripture says, know ye not that the Kedushim should judge the world? Know ye not that you should judge Malachim? You got to judge even the fallen angels that left their first estate, because you are going to what? Thank you. You're going to replace them. Are y'all hearing this? They have to be judged. Now, let's get into this, because if the trees are going to be for the healing of the nation, but you come in with a glorified body in which you never suffer, no more sickness, no more pain, no more sorrow, the trees aren't for you. It's for the nations that are there. Remember, in the kingdom age, we got to still keep tabernacle, still keep Pesach. We got to keep all of this. We got to teach the Gentiles this. And if they get stubborn and rebellious, Shaitan and his spirit is not there. It's just man, the Ruach HaKodesh, and free will. So if they don't come up, Yahweh says they don't get no rain. They don't get no crops. They be beggars in the kingdom. You got to understand all of this, because it's important for Yisrael. You're striving for this. If they don't marry, they don't give in marriage, you can be there having babies, arguing, like we do in this generation now. We're all arguing over how many wives we can have. Or, how's a brother working at Pete's Auto Parts, making $8,000 an hour, going to support 3 women? And of what paramount importance is that in this age now? Considering that we ain't in the kingdom, we ain't in our own land, you can have a baby, and if you're not properly registered in the state, a midwife, mother, somebody can come there and help bring that child to birth without hospitalization, medical records, and all that, and she can go to jail. Okay, so I'm bringing all that out because you're not in your land now. You're scattered. Ezekiel 5, Yahweh rebuked us because he said, you're not obeying my laws. And in the land of the Gentiles, neither are you obeying theirs. Who that sound like?
Us.
Do I need to go get that and read that just for safety's sake? Y'all sure? I mean, I quoted it, but let's just go there. I don't like to say nothing, because then later you'll see the little comment online, Elder Johnson, you said this, that, and other, and you didn't prove it. That's the type of stuff we do, right? Ezekiel 5:7. Listen to this. Wait a minute, 5:6. Let's back up a little bit, make the point clearer. And she have changed my judgments into wickedness more than the nation. Whoa now. See, ain't this us? We were given the law. We decided to change it, do what we want to do. No. He said, you did it worse than the heathens. And my statutes more than the countries that are round about her. For they have refused my judgments and my statutes. They have not walked in them. See how Yahweh embarrasses us because we wouldn't do it? Look at us. We're the laughing stock of all the nations today. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh Elohim, because you multiply more than the nations that are round about you. Stop right there. You know this is talking about us. We're the ones having children. We are the only nation still multiplying faster than most of the other nations. They keep lying about how we get to be 12% of the population for the last 65 years. Y'all ever notice that? We are always 12%. Sometimes we make it 13. White people have a birth dearth. One white man born, one white man just died. And the numbers kind of stay stagnant. Now it's even working in the reverse. But we always stay 12%. I've been watching these statistics ever since I've been researching and paying attention to it. I can show you all U.S. Census statistics that go back to the 1960s. 12%, 12%, 12%. But Shaniqua down the street got 12 babies. Keisha around the alley got 13. Tanya over across the way, she got 11. Young man, come on, I know a young man, listen, funniest thing I ever heard in my life. He got 21 children. 21 children. This is the funny part. Child support said, leave him alone. There's nothing to get. This is a true story. Child support said, leave him alone. There's nothing to get. He ain't gonna pay nothing. He ain't got nothing. Leave him alone. True story. Yahweh says, you multiply more than the nations round about you, and have not walked in my statutes, neither have kept my judgments, neither have done according to the judgments of the nations that are round about you. Now that's a testimony. That's a blanket indictment. We ain't keeping nothing, right? Yahweh say, Shavuot, fall right around May. Keep it. Pesach, keep it. Shofar, Yom Torah, all those things. He said, keep it. We won't keep it, right? 4th of July come around, we keep at that. We ain't even getting that right. Now that's their pagan stuff. We ain't even getting that right, right? Now, you know, come on, you know, see, y'all ready for this? I'm gonna say it. This is true. You some of this stuff go on, you can tell us black people, because we gotta always change stuff to make it suit us, right? Now watch this. This as phony as Christmas is. We weren't happy with it. So here come this idiot, right? Kareem says, look, check this out. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take something that look like the menorah. I'm going to add one more to it. We're going to keep something similar to Sukkot, but we're going to take it over here and do it around Christmas time and tell you all this is really your culture. And we go crazy. You hear me? Kwanzaa. Oh, so y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But that's us. Oh man, yeah, this is real. Man, shut up. Ain't no Kwanzaa, nothing like that even come up out of Africa. That come up out of Detroit. With the help of the CIA. Now, that's all I'm going to say on that. But again, Yahweh said, you ain't keeping mine and you ain't even keeping the laws of the Gentile. So now you got these three competing holidays. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. What do you keep? Hanukkah, Christmas, or Kwanzaa? You get a choice. This is a multicultural choice of foolishness in the 10th month. You hear me? Multicultural foolishness in the 10th month. I'm throw that out there and keep moving. But anyway, so Yahweh says, therefore thus saith Yahweh Elohim, behold, he's talking about himself, even I am against you, and will execute judgments in the midst of you, in the sight of the nation. See how Yahweh embarrasses? He slap us down right in the sight of the nation. More black people have high blood pressure. More black people have heart attacks. More stroke. More black people are dying from a new sophisticated form of lead poisoning. It's called gunshot, by the way. So pay attention to what's happening to us in the world. We want to be Yahweh's people without the expense of doing what he said do. It's like, I know this little kid, his daddy got some money. His daddy, multi-millionaire. And the kid, he about 19. He get tires put on his little Camaro. He go out and burn the tires out. We call it type of racing, drag racing. What is it? Drag racing. I thought y'all said something else. Anyway, he's a kid. He crazy. Got a trust fund. They had to lock everything down, take credit card from him. Young black brother. Crazy. And I said to myself, like I said when I saw the brothers trying to work when the old man showed up, I was looking at the son and I said to myself, that's the perfect example of what Yisrael does. We want to take advantage of all the goods that our Father provides for us, though we don't deserve it. Yet he loves us so we keep getting away with a lot of our little sins because we are a spoiled brat in the earth. Is it safe for me to say that as a preacher? Can I say that about us as Yisrael? And I don't say it to demean us or to put us down. I say it to pick us up because what I'm saying is Yahweh demands better. We therefore have to do better to receive better. Let's go on further. I want you all to see how Yahweh embarrasses us for our disobedience and our hypocrisy. Now, back at the Lamentations. Remember in verse 2, he said he polluted the kingdom and the princes. This is why our young men today, they're not really qualified as young messengers and Yahweh preachers. And you ever see little Hebrews out on the corner? They in every city in America. You ever notice how they talk to people? Just curse everybody out. How you curse everybody out, but you drinking, you smoking weed? Now you're under the influence of all these different spirits and you can go out and teach the word of Yahweh. Yeah, am I lying? See, I know the ones here, they drink on Shabbat. Not all of them. I'm saying some here in Baltimore, they drink on Shabbat, and their main drink was Evan Williams. So, forgive me, I'm a little nosy. Evan Williams ain't even all that expensive. See, I went and looked it up. So, I mean, I guess I better not say that because somebody go try it. They'll take it and run with it. But what I was getting ready to say was, you ain't even drinking top shelf. Some old weak garbage, man. When last y'all heard something about Bacardi? It's cheap now in comparison to the stuff they have. Am I correct? I'm just checking. I'm just checking. See, we just destroy ourselves. Don't even matter how. We won't even destroy ourselves in the upgrade. We destroy ourselves on the cheap. Right? It's like these people over here eating pate, whatever that is. And you over here with a block of government cheese. And you think you living in life with a pocket knife, just slicing cheese. This is the stuff we as Yisrael do before Yahweh and the world. And he let it come off as an embarrassment. See, you are a disgrace when a white man, former FBI agent, says, what baffles me is how you people, and this is what he said, what baffles me is how you people can uplift and parade an Alpo Martinez as if he's a king, but you'll ignore a Malcolm X. And I'm like, damn, a white man. He didn't even say Martin King. He said Malcolm X, which says something. We ignore Yahshua. This is why you try to remind people, no matter how Baruch we may be as messengers, we have to stay mindful that we can't get high mind. We ain't the Savior. We cannot redeem any one of you. All we can do is save ourselves by simply preaching the word of Yahweh to you. That's why I don't allow people to praise me. Yeah, John, that was a profound message. That was this, that was that. Well, give Yahweh Yahshua all the credit. I do it all the time. And I've grown to love something about life. And I do delight in this. We built an elevator shaft for this company, put it up, and it had to go up perfectly straight and everything. Put it all in place, set the steel. The lintels were like 550 some pounds. They wondered how we got them set and got them all in there. We put it in place. And the little man sitting next to the man that built the thing. And he's sitting in there talking about all the features it got and all this other stuff. And then he asked, well, did they set the steel? Did they do this? Did they do that? This, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So then I says to the man, whose name in the Indian language is Sham, S-H-A-M, Sham. So I subtly mocked him like he did me. I said, see, Sham, if you come on the job site from time to time, you would at least know what's going on, as well as you would know who put the damn thing up. But you here presenting your facts to the people, running a sham as if you really know all of the details, and you ain't came out to see it. Yes! And then I start talking to the people in the room. The elevator shaft has been completed since Monday. This, that, and the other happened, and we are going to the side and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know what he's saying. I had to embarrass him. I wasn't seeking recognition because I like being in the background. But don't stand and take credit when you really didn't do anything. And like I said, your name is Sham. You're running a sham because you want to look like you really up the par. None of the big wheels came to check the thing. I could have, it's supposed to go up as a square. I could have twisted it and did this and going on everything. Nobody came to check the work. But Yah was coming to check our work. And he uses the same terminology in our trade. He's going to stretch out a plumb line on Yisrael. So the young man went to the top of the elevator shaft and had to drop a plumb barb from the corner all the way down to the basement floor. And the plumb barb is about 4 pounds, little steel metal thing. It goes in, it's heavy. So when you put it on the corner of that block, every corner better be precise. And they took these engineers in there and they shot their little pictures and they throwing all this, yeah, it's this and it's that. And I just politely walked away. I ain't need no credit. The thing is up. Y'all just the engineers. The one thing I got on them about was their math. And I didn't care that it offended them. I said, quote, whoever came up with these numbers and these measurements for where these inserts were supposed to be, I said, I imagine that probably was some idiot fresh out of architectural school. He wanted to show people just how wise he was. He come up with this old crazy figure. Come off of the corner, 3 feet, 2 5/8 of an inch, 2 7/8 of an inch. I said, that's stupid. You could do just say, look, come on off 2 3 inches, 2 feet 3 inches, all stuff. Yeah, 1/8 of an inch. So I'm bringing this up to make a point. Me being smart, I said, if they can't make this work because I'm 1/8 of an inch off, they are an idiot. So I'm gonna make it bigger. So I took that extra 1/8 and added it and made it an even 3 inches. I did it just to be smart. I said, because I want to see if when they come to put the elevator in, are they going to say, oh, this will never work. We can't because somebody's 1/8 of an inch off. My point, this is a corrupt world. It's going down. They're demanding perfection. They're overworking people. Everybody in society, overworked, underpaid. They don't want to pay you nothing. Everything else. But now Yahweh demands that perfection down to your 1/8 of an inch. Or your micromillimeters or whatever you want. Yahweh's demanding that out of us as Yisrael. We ain't even concerned to give it to him. But the world want everything done with precision. Who we going to obey? Yahweh. You hear me, Yisrael? This is how we learn to take delight in the Shabbat. I'm oftentimes troubled. I'm puzzled. I'm disturbed when we in the sacred name. We in and out. We keep it. We not. We this. We that. We miss the feast day. We miss. And I be trying to figure out sometimes to see it from our standpoint as a people. How you forget the feast days? Or how you forget a Shabbat, or even worse, here's the worst one. How are you so tired on the Shabbat that you miss it when it is your rest day? You understand? You don't miss the boss. The job tell you be there. You there 6:15. Drinking coffee, sitting in the office or resting and waiting because your shift don't start till 7 a.m. But you there 15 minutes early. But every Shabbat you hour, half hour late. You see the trade-off is poor the way we treat Yahweh. But then we'll stand and say, I'm Yahweh's children. We're driven to do these things. No, we're not. Yahweh said do better. The boss will pull you up and say, now look, you've been late 7 times this week. You be like, 7 times? I ain't worked for 5 days a week. You don't argue back. You don't say nothing. He said you've been late 7 times. You ain't figured out that he watched you clock back in late after lunch and all that. You ain't catch it. And you say, yes, sir, I'll do better. And you go and do better. Now, Yahweh says it to us, and we pick Yahweh's house as the way in which we decide, I'll do what I want to do. But now, older version, this is Elder Johnson's Torah. I pull this out every now and then, and I was looking at something earlier. One of the verses here, I'm going to skip down. I'm in Lamentations. I just want to go to the 6th verse. I want you to hear what Yahweh said. He hath violently taken away his tabernacle, like that of a garden. He hath destroyed his places of the assembly. Now, pay attention. Notice it's plural. He hath destroyed the places of the assembly. After Yisrael started going into captivity and getting out in other places, the temple we had in Jerusalem, we look up and realize Nebuchadnezzar came and set a global precedent because he tore the house of Yahweh down, took all the precious stuff, carried it back to him, tore that down. Yahweh said he would be unto Yisrael a little sanctuary of hope in all the cities to which I shall scatter them. So when little assemblies are scattered around, we don't need no cathedrals like Dodger Stadium or, I can't even think of nothing. You can tell I don't pay sports no attention. Help me. Yeah, the Coliseum, thank you. I was trying to say Raven Stadium. I couldn't even. Anyway, he is a little blessing for his people where he inspires somebody, go open the doors of a house and preach my word there. We got so out of hand with him. Now look at the verse carefully. He has destroyed the places of the assembly. I know assemblies right now, they go along with gay relationships and all this other stupid stuff. They accept the personage of women preaching. They into the multiple wives thing. You're not building the nation now. You're scattered. You're in captivity. But anyway, they accept everything now that you really have to teach people about and get them back in line. Don't nobody want to get caught doing that because, see, number one, people ain't going to sit still too long and hear a man tell them how they living wrong. So, you're a man just like me. You sin just like I do. The word says, for all have sinned and come short of the kabod of Yahweh. We've all fell short of the glory. So, that ain't even an argument. That's a coward's argument when they don't want to face their sin. Because see, immediately they throw it back at you, right? That's the cheating husband who accuses the wife. And immediately when she says to him, now, I found lipstick on your collar 4 days in a row. Oh, go ahead. You went over there. You was at now you got to switch it around. That's how we do Yahweh as a people. Because soon as something go wrong, we start blaming this way of life. Are you hearing me? So now he destroyed the assemblies. Yahweh have caused the solemn feasts and the Shabbats to be forgotten in Zion. Look, if you forget these days, there's a reason why you're forgetting them. And let me tell you what it is. Scriptural pink slip. Yahweh's dismissing you. You hear what I say? You forget this. Come on now. You forget that he allowed you to forget his Kodesh days? And he hath despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priests. No, we ain't got no leadership worth nothing now. Where your kings at today? Where your priesthood at today? Same book, the Lamentations, goes a little further back, and you find where he says, they honor not the face of the elders. They despise the words of the priest. So this is us now. We don't want to hear nobody tell us, we ain't doing this right. Because everybody think whatever it is that they're doing is right in their own eyes. But yet we all got that same word that testifies against each and every one of us. See, I have to stop and commend each and every one of you. I dear beloved brother and mother, guests in here today. We told y'all for you all. But I commend you all for even sitting still this long. Just to hear somebody teach. Because you know us as a people, we ain't going to sit still too long. No, we'll sit still at a baseball game. I got some people Monday, I'm going to really rub it in their face when they show back up at work. Because they took off. They flew all the way down Florida to watch the Ravens lose. Now, they're going to probably want to fight Monday. So I'm going to probably throw the boxing gloves in the back of the truck. But I said before they left, I did say, so y'all wasting all this money on plane tickets, hotel fares to go down there and watch your home team lose. You could stay home and keep the money and watch them lose on TV. And let's quote him. His exact words were, nigga, don't say that, because they probably gonna win. So you know he's gonna be mad at me Monday because they lost. I heard that the next day. But I was like, man, they lost. So I didn't even say, I told you so. But the point, we're into so much stuff. We won't even go to see a messenger of Yahweh. Poor little fella was talking to me, and I told my shop about this. A few weeks ago, they were talking to me about the word of Yahweh. In fact, I can tell you when it was. I took off for Sukkot. I'm out. See y'all when I get back. But when I got back, there had been a discussion about me and why I took off. And one of the brothers, he think he know Hebrews better than us. He's Muslim, but he know this way of life better. So he can explain my belief system to them. So I go in the office and everything, talking to them. And then now they got a billion questions about Yahweh and Yahshua, what have you. Now, this is interesting because most of us will perk up when somebody wants to know about the word of Yahweh. But that ain't what happened. Yahweh shut me down. And I couldn't discuss the word like I wanted to. Though I was willing, Yahweh would not allow me. Scripture says, give not that which is Kodesh unto the dogs. Now, I'm throwing out a point. I ain't going to disrespect the man and his wife and them, but I'm going to tell the truth at all times. Sophisticatedly robbing your employees, cheating them out of hours here and there, doing all this stealing. Yahweh looks down on that with a frown. But this stuff happens. So in the process of that, I kept saying, well, the word does say he that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of Yahweh. I was dropping a nugget, letting the man know, if you've emerged with that type of authority and you got at least 70 or 80 employees, you got to be fair and just. That's how you get your blessing. Now I'm dropping all of this to this man. People coming back complaining about their hours, their checks, their this, that, and that. When I know they put in 40 hours, and checks should not be saying 32, 36. You're stealing. So when I went to discuss Yahweh's word a little further, I couldn't get the thought together. As well as I know the word, I realized at that precise moment, no, this ain't Yahweh's will. And I wouldn't discuss no more with him. Because you're bluffing, you're fake. You're phony. And unless Yahweh give you space for repentance and an opportunity to come, you don't know you got a little man of Yahweh walking right around in your midst. And you do all the stuff to them people. And I told you all about it. My testimony's on the record. I, as a contractor, had to be paid a certain percentage. I put it down that when I come back, I expect this amount, X amount for the draw that I need to get. Even mine was wrong. I said, now see, you're going too far. Though they corrected it with prayer, Yahweh made them. But it's the point. All people ain't going to be saved. And ain't no need of us thinking because the Hebrews were black and originated from us that he ain't going to save people out of every kindred and tongue and nation. We're going to have to tell the truth of this thing. Scripture says it. He's not just going to save Yisrael alone. He's going to put the rod on Yisrael. He's going to save those that are righteous, those that turn from transgression in your code. He said he's going to save us. But the Gentile multitude is going to be so embarrassed having served Allah, having served Jesus, having served Buddha, and all these different things. When they see the salvation of Yahweh, that deliverance that Yahshua speaks of, when they see you get delivered, they will be so appalled that their gods have failed them. How did you come out of this great tribulation? Who are you? You're the ones that have washed your robes? We're going with you, for we have heard that Yahweh is with you. Hallelujah. Does it make sense? Yes. So I'm back to the original point. Why does Yahweh embarrass Yisrael if it isn't because of our hypocrisy and our refusal to stand up and do right? You hear what I say? Refusal in all things. Watch this real quick. Scripture says in the law, a just balance, a just scale, and a just ephah shalt thou have. And real quick, what's the balance, what's the scale, and what's an ephah? And how many of you got one? I'm raising a point. That dynamic of the law that we're supposed to know, see how we lost the right to keep it, even in our business practices. If you are a grocer, you should have, when I was a child, there was a grocery store down the street from us. They kept a silver dollar right under the pane. And then they dialed the scale back, put it back on zero. But as a little child, you standing this high and the scale right here at an adult's chest level. So a child said, Mom, they got what's that under there? They got a silver dollar taped up under there. You know, little child, you see a dollar, you're not trying to steal it, but you look and see, oh, that's a dollar. And your mom says, Pat, get your hand off that. Don't you touch that. And the man that's putting the potatoes on there, the silver dollar weighs the thing down. So you're actually getting less than you're supposed to get. You understand? So now you and I as a Hebrew can't cheat people like that. As a child, I caught it and understood now. I said, those of us that are in business, you got to be fair in all the things that you do. A just balance, a just scale, and a just ephah shalt thou have. You can't go run out and just buy it at the day, and you ain't really in business. Well, I'm keeping the law. I got a balance, I got a scale, I got an ephah. I'm not saying we throw the law away. I'm saying because we went into captivity, certain dynamics or certain aspects of the Torah are not suspended. It's just inapplicable at this time because you're in captivity. Because when you had the opportunity to do that, you wouldn't. See how sophisticatedly Yahweh took, and that's just one area. So you see how sophisticatedly Yahweh took stuff from us? So our brothers today are so busy trying to just now teach and overteach. They want to get into the suppressed books and all this. You have not mastered the 66 that followed you from the shores of Jerusalem, from the shores of Africa to all the nations where you're scattered. Now you are masters of the suppressed books when they just fell into the hands of the general population less than 40 years ago. So all our new teachers now, like a 5-year-old child, they want to teach you something that they really just learned. You hear what I'm saying? These men can't teach Yisrael because they lack an experience in Yahweh and in the law. Are you hearing what I'm saying? A just balance. A young brother worked with me. I was fixing a house, did the whole house by myself and a laborer, put the whole wall up. I get to the last 6 to 8 feet of the wall. Brother I know, young brother, apprentice bricklayer, he come along. Man, you need some help. You need this. I was almost finished. So well, come on, help. He get his bag out of his car. He climb up and help me finish it up. Back then, I think a little bricklayer was making about $25 an hour. Anyway, he come up, he get his bag and finish everything. He desperately needed his money. Paid him at the end of the day. I was $100 short. Told him, I said, look, I got to see you. As soon as you get a chance, let me do this, that, and other, and come meet up with me, and I'll get the balance to you. Haven't seen the brother in 2 or 3 years. His children grew up a little taller on me than they were. Saw him at a 7-Eleven a few weeks ago. Said, hey, Sean. Hey, hey, Brother David, how you doing? Blah, 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 this, that, blah, blah, blah. I said, Sean, hey, man, I still owed you $100 from that job you helped me finish down South Baltimore, this, that, and I started digging in my pocket. He said, how you owe me some money? Because you paid me that day. I said, I paid you everything but $100. Remember, I told you, meet up with me later. And he said, man, I forgot all about it. And I said, well, I didn't. I just haven't seen you in two. He said, man, it's always good to see you. He said, but you know what? I don't even feel right taking it. He said, brother, you've always been that way with us. You've been fair. You've been just, man. And that's why a lot of us just love you so, because you're always going to do right. I said, well, take your money. Here's the irony of it. I had ordered some gas, and I got a little something to drink. I had about $150 on me at the time. And the little change that they gave me back was like $8 or $9. I ain't going nowhere but in the house. I had a full tank of gas and my little snack for the rest of the day. I gave him the $100, even though he didn't want it. It was his. That's Yahweh's law. You do right by one another. You hear what I say? We have to learn that. A lot of times the assemblies there, I've heard what the brothers do. They get tithes and offering different things, and they out buying expensive cars and different stuff. My truck broke down, been down for 5 weeks. Wasn't that we didn't have the money. Just couldn't find a specific part we needed. Didn't go out buying no brand new stuff, all this stuff. The funds and things that come in Yahweh's house is for Yahweh's affairs and his people. And they don't know how to govern. That's why everybody want to preach today. Because Christianity has made this all about money. This is about saving souls. Hallelujah. That silver and that gold, they can make cast that stuff in the street. We wondering why we still having problems. We're having problems because we're just not being true to ourselves and to Yahweh. As a nation, we have to do better. You hear what I say? We have to do better. Let's go a little further. Y'all got to hear this. Verse 3, he hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Yisrael. Stop right there. The horn in scripture represents strength. But it says here, he hath cut off all the horn of Yisrael and have drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. Who is Yahweh's right hand? Didn't Yahshua say, whatsoever you ask the Father in my name, I will do it? Yes. See how Yahweh's restricted Yahshua from going forward, fighting for you? The enemy do any and everything they want to do to us. Police killings are just as brutal today as they were in the 40s and the 50s, the Klansmen, the hanging of the tree and all that stuff. None of that has changed. Yahweh says he has withdrawn his right hand from before the enemy. He stopped Yahshua from fighting them. Because for right now, we ain't worthy of it. He's holding it back. But let's back up a little bit. He have cut off in his fierce anger, look, all the horn of Yisrael. I'm going to come back to the horn because I got to explain something that the horn does and that he says going to happen with the horn. And then he says horns. So I want y'all to catch what he's laying out for us, okay? And he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devoureth round about. Let's pause for a minute. Let's go to the Lamentations chapter 3. Look at verse 40. I want you to see something here. It says, let us search and try our ways and turn again to Yahweh. That means carefully consider what you do. Carefully consider how you live, right? And turn back to Yahweh. Let us lift up our hearts with our hands unto Yahweh in the Hashemayim. In other words now, everybody quickly, put your hands up. Ask for something real quick. Just quick. How about y'all? Grant me. Whatever you ask for. Quickly, put your hands down. Look around the room. Whatever you asked for, real quick. Did anybody get it? Did you get it? Now, because you didn't get it, does that mean you won't? No. See how Yisrael does, Yahweh? Sometimes we pray and we don't get what we're looking for right away. We get mad with Yahweh. But he asked for you, a Kodesh people. A people that are willing to be obedient. Did he get it? No. So now you wondering why he going tit for tat with us? He has a right. Yeah. Vengeance is mine, says Yahweh, I will repay. But you and I don't have that right. I ain't praying no more. I don't keep on praying. You answer my prayer. I'll go get mine. And next thing you know, brother got the gun in his hand. And the word tells us that you obey Yahweh. What you're supposed to do. He says, lest poverty come upon you like an armed man. Lest want come upon you like an armed man. Ain't that what the stick-up boys do? Get mad, get a gun, go take some. David prayed such a beautiful prayer. He said something, and people, they just steady quoting the Bible, but they ain't living it. David said, Yahweh is my shepherd. I shall not want. Now, I had a Jehovah's Witness explain that to me one time. It was the funniest thing I ever heard. He said to me, see, you ain't even supposed to be wanting nothing. You probably want a bag of Doritos right now. That was his excuse. Exact word. You probably want a bag of Doritos right now. So I said, no, I don't even like Doritos. I don't like the smell. Make me gag. He said, well, you know what I mean. You probably want something like that. I said, brother, the context in which he uses the word want was not in wanting stuff excessively. He used the word want in the construct of need. So unless you looked at that in the Hebrew and understood how to carry over the words in the proper language and put the content in the proper context, you do what you just did in the English language. Now I'll tell you what you want but can't get. I said, you want to be right, but can't. Because I've told you the Almighty has a name. His name is Kodesh. It is sacred. It is holy. It is above all name. And his name is Yahweh. I said, you all have a pamphlet called the Divine Name that will never be destroyed. And you all admit in that track, Yahweh is his name. But you keep on saying Jehovah. I said, if anybody is in want, it's you. He ain't spoke to me since. Don't matter to me. I delivered the mail. Okay? See, you ever wonder why dogs hate the mailman so bad? Probably because he just bring the bills. So dog just, oh, there you go. So I just delivered the... sorry about that. But I just delivered the mail. So I'm just the mail. I'm the postman, right? Anyway. He says, lift up our hearts with our hands unto Yahweh in the heavens. We have transgressed and have rebelled, and thou hast not pardoned. See, this is why we go off on each other. This is why we fussing and fight. Can't have a peaceful home and a family life. Because we transgressed and rebelled against Yahweh, and he has not pardoned us. Are we really asking? Most of the time, our Hebrew men, and I'm going back, I'm going hard. I'm in my 50s too, but I've studied this world very well, as best I could. Certain things hit certain generations. And it's up to each generation to pay attention to as many generations that preceded them as possible. Because the scripture does not tell you, stand in the way and see and ask for the new stuff. That's right. It says, ask for the old path. And it says, when you find it. So now when every new generation trying to adjust, know how that generation, I ain't going to do my children like my parents did me. So, all right, well, I got a question for you. How did you turn out? Are you trash? See, you gotta ask people that, because that parent gonna say, well, yeah, you're right. I am a piece of trash, come to think of it. My mother just, she made nothing out of me. People don't confess that. Everybody think the world of themselves. So now they don't want to do to their children what their parents did to them. So now you change the whole paradigm or the whole dynamic of parenting, because you try to be ultra soft, right? You turn into shaman. But you don't see the harm in charm. I'll wait. You understand? You want to be your child's friend. I don't want to eat that. I ain't had no time frame in life where I don't want that. What? Pat, sit down. You eat what's set before. My mother had this expression, and she would get cool on you with it. She would say, well, you'll eat it before it eats you. And I used to hate that. Because, see, they got these TV commercials now where they got food coming to life. You ever see the chicken breast fighting the man back and all this stuff? So, as a child, I still think I need to write them commercial companies and get my credits or my check for that. Because I think in my mind, I thought that stuff up. Because that's how I visualize the food fighting me, trying to eat me. But anyway. So our children today, they don't like this, they don't like that. And more often than not, they don't like the very stuff that's good for them. Yahweh did not promise you happy meals. He promised to supply all you need and gave you a happy meal menu. He gave you a dietary law. Am I making sense yet? Yeah. He gave us a... No, we don't want that. My grandmother in her 80s, when she converted and came to the name of Yahweh, had all kind of ailments. She had a pill for high blood pressure. She had a pill for the side effect that the pressure pills would create. Then she had a pill for the pill that side effect came from the other pill. And then she had this pill. This was a muscle relaxer pill. This was a cramp pill. This was the pill you take when your grandchildren come over the house. This pill for this, and she had pill for everything, right? So my father would preach. My grandma was in Shiloh Baptist Church here under Harold A. Carter. You know, Carter was a real sophisticated, down low styled preacher. They didn't want to confess it till years later. But anyway, she left that church and it pissed the whole family off. Everybody got mad because we all our lives had little assemblies about this size here. She come with her Bible. She would sit, hear my father preach, which was her firstborn. She would look and read and study and look, and then every now and then look over there and hit my knee. Pat, wake up. And make sure I was studying too. But in all that preaching, she stopped eating a little pork, changed the diet. That pill table became less and less and less. So converting in her 80s when I was a child, Yah baruch that little old woman to live to be 105. So that reversal of some of the health problems comes about through the dietary law. I want you to hear what I say. Don't let anybody tell you that some of them symptoms like high blood pressure, clogged artery, some of that stuff, if it be Yah's will, the way he sees fit, can be reversed. Now, there was a little Jewish man came to the Assemblies of Yahweh years ago. We went down to the shul with the Elder Roberts congregation. Little Jewish man, I forget his name, but I do have his book. He wrote a book about holistic healing according to the dietary law of Yahweh. And I thought it was real beautiful that the little white man put that together and talked about how some of this stuff can be reversed after years of, of that decrepitness to lengthen a person's life and in the power of prayer. I don't doubt it because I've seen it with my own eyes. So somebody with all them ailments come to Yahweh and Yahweh bless them to live to be 105. And she had this saying that she always would tell the young women. She would say to her granddaughters, she would keep in this way of life because I don't want to live here all my life. Then make my bed in hell. And that's one of them little sayings with old folks. You know how old folk talk to you. I love the elderly people because they got this thing. You all too young to catch this. But when old folks say something and they're 100% right, watch their body actions right after they finish talking. Because their body action is like a little subtle period. Boop, at the end of the statement. Or sometimes the exclamation. So she would say, I don't want to live my life here all the days and then make my bed in hell. That's why I serve Yahweh. So you young, you thinking, is there more? But you get old and you start you realize now, she didn't look, you over here. She said what she said, didn't look over there. So you get old, you realize, okay, with the crossed arms and the head that way, that's the end of it. Ain't nothing else to say. And I was like, that's beautiful. That's smooth. Can you imagine how Moshe gave Yisrael the law? Come back down. Hey, here's a good conversation. Caleb, on his 85th birthday, talked to a young man. Let's just say the young man was about 25. He think it's all about him. He been in 2 battles and come back home. He think he the man. Caleb, on his 85th birthday, says to the young man, today I am 85 years old. And if a war break out, I can go out to war and come back home and eat peacefully. That's serious. You tough, you think you a warrior. Here, old man, let you know. You go and run on down there in the battle. I'm going to watch you slay this one now, but I'm coming in behind you because all that escaped you, they coming to me. I'm going to lay them down. And when it's all over with, I'm going to turn around. I'm going back home and I'm going to eat. See, that's how old folk do. They have that kind of authority in Yahweh. We as the messengers of Yahweh, we as the children of Yahweh, we have that kind of old folk knowledge in the world with the way we live in Yahweh's word because we are declaring the word of Yahweh from the days of old, which does not change. You hear what I'm saying? All these newfangled brothers today preaching and all these newfangled shepherds, man, They're destroying us, and don't nobody want to get caught. You ever notice how nobody really wants to take responsibility for the demise of Yisrael as a nation? You ever notice you never hear any man stand up and say, well, I preached that wrong. I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have led those people that way, or I shouldn't have ordained that brother there, or I shouldn't have sent that. You ever notice nobody wants to take responsibility for anything like that? And that's why a lot of times people get frustrated with us here, because we have a rule. And the rule is, don't do nothing without consulting Yahweh. You pray that Yahweh lead you, that he guide you, that he be with you in all things. You don't have to pretend. If he ain't with you and you end up doing something in the flesh, if he guided you and allowed you to draw the conclusion, thank him anyway. But make space in your life where Abba Yah is with you in all that you do. That is how you open the fullness of all the blessing of Yahweh, because you put him first in all things. Make sense? We don't profess to know it all. We put him first and let him guide. Remember, he wanted to be the king, and he wanted to dwell in the midst of Yisrael. But Yisrael got out of hand. Let's go back. Let's look at what it says here. Because when you start looking at what Yahweh did, he says in the word that the heaven is my throne, the earth is my footstool. And he wanted to dwell in the midst of Yisrael, but because we rejected him, he withdrew his presence from us. So we go through stumbling block after stumbling block after stumbling. Brothers can't find a decent paying job. We ain't got no skills in this era of time. We ain't got no trades. Our wives go back and forth with us word for word a lot of time. And you know why? Because you ain't right and she ain't right. So you are going to get your point across. She are going to get her point across. You're going back and forth. Before long, let's tell the truth, Yisrael, somebody going to hit somebody in the mouth. Tell me that ain't how it goes, right? But if somebody take the low road, humble themselves, and say, you know what, I ain't going back and forth with you. I'm going to pray about this. And just shut up and wait on Yahweh. Yahweh will speak to the conscience of the one in the relationship that's dead wrong. You ain't got all power over Yahweh. And we don't learn how to do that now. We don't have that kind of relationship with Yahweh. And I said it before, I'll say it again. Yahweh will solve all our problems. I don't care about no social economic status. He'll be with us in everything that we do, so that if we're the lowest paid and the poorest of the poor, if we are just simply striving to do it right, Yahweh will make all the ends of everything come to place and fall in place in such a way you will know his mighty presence. You will know it. Yeah, well, you ain't got to go crazy. You ain't got to go hustle and sell weed now and then get busted. Now you're in the joint. Now you got time. You're away from her. You can't argue with her now. She got peace now. So she get another brother and all this other stuff. Look, that ain't Yahweh's will. That ain't Yahweh's will. We worry about everything but the right thing. We have a soul to be concerned about. We worry about our sex lives. Let's go. He hath bent his bow like an enemy. He stood with his right hand as an adversary, and slew all that were pleasant to the eye in the tabernacle of the daughter of Zion. He poured out his fury like fire. Now, who is that if that ain't what Yahweh did to us, right? Isaiah 42, I think it says, who gave Yisrael to the robbers? Was not it Yahweh, he against whom they have sinned? Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, 42:24. Who gave Yaakov for a spoil, and Yisrael to the robbers? Did not Yahweh, he against whom we have sinned? For they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. Therefore he hath poured out upon him his fury of anger, and the strength of battle, and it hath set him on fire round about. Yet he knew it not, and it burned him. Yet he laid it not to heart. You tell me that ain't our young men today? Dying in the gutters and still don't consider something is not right. Won't stop and think. Won't go to Yahweh. And the older generation, they don't know what the hell to say to them. I was on a job a few years ago. I didn't know this. I knew, but I didn't know. I was the foreman then at the construction company. And I had about 25 of them. And I used to wonder why when we putting the building together up on the scaffold, certain brothers wouldn't come down this end of the scaffold. And some brothers on this end wouldn't go down that end. And I'm like, what's going on with them? They don't even think they're out here all day, but they separated. These brothers, Crips and Bloods, done divided the scaffold into territory. I ain't never seen anything like it. True story. So the next morning, I lined them up. We had a safety meeting. We was right by the toolbox. And they ran with a little blue flag in their pocket. This one got the red flag on. It was tied around his head. So I'm getting on them about productivity and how I'm going to train you. I'm going to make some of the best bricklayers out of y'all. Y'all ain't going to be in these streets and be getting killed and dying. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care what gang you in. For 8 hours out the day, you belong to me. Now start snatching their flags and taking their flags. Right? Now I ain't know you can get killed for touching the gang boy's flag. But that taught me something. I tested their gangster without realizing I tested their gangster. But in the blessing of Yahweh, he made them respect me. And nobody touched me, nobody bucked. At the end of the day, he had a red flag, I give him a blue and just be smart. I just give them their stuff back. And let them know, we brothers out here. For 8 hours a day, you ain't no Crip, you ain't no blood. You up here, this, that, and other. And I trained them. And most of them ain't with their company now, but they got babies or girlfriends or wives or what have you, and they working. I can be out at a job site, brother, come by in a BG&E gas and your truck up there. Hey, Mr. DJ, hey, man, what's up? This is brother, saved my life. This is jumped out the truck in the middle of the traffic. I got scared. Like, what? Just to greet me. And I stayed on them. Pushed them. Because don't nobody push us. See, I'm so thankful I had a father who pushed me. He didn't play. I was young. This is an embarrassing story. I don't like to tell it, but I was young. If you ever seen the old TV movie Goodfellas, there was one person in there, Paulie. Paulie had the connections. He had all. Well, we had a Paulie in our neighborhood. And this brother here, he always had stolen goods. He was always cool, pocket full of money. My dad worked and preached. So anyway, I creep down there and hang out with all of them. I'm holding something for him in the house, shouldn't have it in the house. My father found out about it because my sister went through my stuff and snitched on me. And I thank Yahweh she snitched. I didn't at the time. Like the book says, no chastisement seems good for the moment. So anyway, my father had a conversation with me about it. And his conversation was straight, no chaser. Said, you ain't going to jeopardize me in my house. If you can't live in my house by my rules, which are Almighty Yahweh's rules, then you got to go. Oh, Daddy, I got you. I'm 16, 17, smelling myself. I'm trying to get out the streets. Come on one day. In these horror movies, you can always tell when a person get ready to get killed because the music got this bam, 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 bam. So I come home and go up the steps. So father be able to door shut. He in there probably reading the Torah. I come up the steps and I make that cut. The hallway got real long, just like in them horror movies. But at the end of the hallway was these 3 trash bags. I ease on down the hall, then he opened the door. David? Yes, sir. Now I'm all military. Yes, sir. I want you out of here. I told you. Now he found the stuff. He didn't throw it away. He had mercy. Had he threw it away, they probably would kill me, whatever. But anyway, I had to get out. No, Mr. Man, you so smart. You know all about the world. You know everything. So now I'm pacing because I ain't got nowhere to go. I can't put my stuff nowhere. All these people I got, that's my friends. Ain't nobody gonna look out for me. I don't know what to do. So I tell y'all, if you ever in Baltimore and you come up this little street, bent low, and press man. It's this recreation center. Anyway, there's this big tree in the park back there. There's the basketball court, some other stuff, and there's this little bench over there. I slept on that bench for a couple weeks because the old man wasn't playing. And I was so dumb and so full of pride that every night after the ball clothes. We all hanging out in the pool hall. I'm gambling, all this stuff, trying to be smarter than my dad. When everybody leave and go home, I ain't had no home. Had to go up Easterwood Park, lay down on that bench. Then sunrise come out. I had a friend whose mother would go out, go to work with her. He'd go in there, shower, take a nap for a couple hours, then he'd get out, hit the streets. So pride, ego. I'm 17, ain't got no home, but nobody don't know. Nice sweatsuit with her. I ain't got home the first, whereas I had a home and had a father that loved and obeyed Yahweh. I thank Yahweh that little old man lived long enough to see me change, to turn back to Yahweh, to forget about streets and drugs and guns and everything else, but to turn to Yahweh. And they told me this conversation that he had in the assembly preaching one day. Had no deacon, had nobody assistant. He preached, he opened the doors, people came, they came. They didn't. He preached. My sister said, well, Daddy, you said in the word that when Yahweh sent his messengers out, he always sent them out 2 by 2. He never sent them without somebody to watch their back. They covered each other. Said, how come you alone? And where's your help? Who is your help? She said, my father stopped and looked straight at her and said, where's my help? David, that's my help. I was out in the street, cutting up. But Yahweh showed him, he get himself together. Hallelujah. That little man was my best friend because he taught me so much about Yahweh's word. He did not bend. He did not yield. He did not mince words to please you. But as a messenger of Yahweh, I seen the power of Yahweh. I saw him cast out the devil in Yahshua's name out of a woman. I saw him heal many sick people. I saw him rebuke a fever in the name of Yahweh. We sick and get, oh, Dad, I feel so terrible. Oh, I'm bad. I ain't going to school today. Come here. Get that oil, pour that oil on you, pray for you, and shake that spirit out and pray, open the window, and then say, how you feel? Now, you know you better not lie. And I went down that room feeling terrible, thinking I was going to get a day off. Say, I feel all right. And his words were, good, put your clothes on, you're going to school. That's how it went. He did it. Seeing things like that, I know that the word of Yah says, it is impossible for those who have once tasted of this good word of Yah and were once enlightened to fall away. The word says it is impossible to renew them again. There's a difference between Israel's backsliding and their hypocrisy and the falling away. Because see, when we start to fall away, I want y'all to hear this now. We got to look so deep into the word of Yah because some in Yisrael, their falling away is going to be like a murder mystery, like a suspense movie. Because some will cleave to the name of Yahweh and won't do much of anything that's in the book. And then you'll think they're right, or you'll think they're Yahweh's people, but all along, he has taken hands off of them. That's why it is so imperative that we all adhere to Yahweh's word. David in his prayer, come on, David was a bad little child just like I was. Maybe maybe, I don't know, something connected to the name, I don't know. But he says something in his prayer that we have to really keep tucked under our hat. In having repented for his theft of a man's wife, his adultery, his fornication with her, all that, having repented of that, in the 51st Psalm, he reminds us something about Yahweh's characteristics and our characteristic. In his prayer to Yahweh, he confessed something. He says, thou desirest truth in the inward part. Yes. Meaning, Yahweh wants you to be true to yourself. You know where you stand. In your prayer, say, well, Yahweh, I'm not right with you. I have not been right in this and that and the other. Have mercy upon me. Heal me. Pick me up. Cleanse me. Be true and ask him to do those things. Tell Yahweh that. He knows, but see, a lot of times we try to cover it up. This is why we as a nation are striving and struggling and failing. This is why so many broken homes are. This is why we don't delight in taking a wife and marrying her. This is why we as men, we fail before Yahweh. As it says up here in the second verse, he polluted the kingdom and the princes. That's all it says, young men. Yahweh didn't even take no more delight in us. But yet we want to say we Hebrews and preach and teach and stand on the corner and holler at the other nations. Fuss them out and threaten them and let them know they're going to be our slave in the kingdom and all. How are you guaranteed to make it there? Yahweh was an enemy. Verse 5. He has swallowed up Yisrael. He has swallowed up all her palaces. He hath devoured his strongholds. The sanctuary of Yahweh is his stronghold. This is where you draw all your strength on the Shabbat. In the sanctuary of Yahweh. Looking at the conditions of the world, the psalmist says something to us in Psalm 73 that we must bear in mind. He looked at the world. He saw the prosperity of the wicked. He saw their wealth. He saw their strength. He saw their arrogance as they spoke against all things. And then he says, until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh, then I understood their end. See, when you look at the wealth of the Gateses and the Rockefellers and all those other people, you see how they just prosper in the world. They got doctors. They got the best of health care. Rockefeller had 6 heart surgeries. How you get 6 heart transplants? See what money do for you? 6 times did they pop a heart out, pop one in, like a battery in a truck. You understand? It won't stop. Get a battery. Put a new battery. So how you get on the National Donor Registry and you get 6? People wait a lifetime and die waiting. But these are the things that people with their money in the world do, and yet they can't buy their way into Yah's kingdom. You come before him with nothing but a meek and quiet spirit. And that's what he received. Ashford and Simpson was right on this. Don't cost you nothing. And people probably say, "Oh, John be listening, I pay attention to everything. I'm on the planet like you, I pay attention." Hear what I say? He hath increased in the daughter of Yahudah mourning and lamentation. And that's what we go through as a people. Come on, y'all. Take delight in Yahweh. You want to have a good night's rest? Pick a beautiful psalm. Cut your TVs off, everything else, whatever you do, cut it off. Read that psalm, a prayer. Get into it. Close the book as quick as you can. Put the light out. Lay down. Meditate on what you just read. See if you don't sleep peacefully. I'm just telling you all. This keep you from fighting each other 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just damn want to know. This stuff will bust up a home, sure enough. This stuff here will bring peace to a home. And I advocate, like a credit card, the Torah of Yahweh, don't have a home without it. Remember them old Carl Malden? I'm telling my age. Carl Malden used to do a TV commercial. Oh, big nose and the credit card. American Express. Don't leave home without it. I could never look at the credit card because I was like, might as well tell it. It's on my mind. Look, I was a child looking at the typical stereotypes of the world they always got on the black people because we had thick lips and big noses. So you buy into that stupid stuff until you get older to understand. But as a child, I'm looking at the TV thinking, I've never seen a white man with such a big nose. You remember? It's like good. I ain't the only one. He come in the door right in his nose, probably knock everybody out the chair. He's dead now, thinking, but man. So you read Yah's word and see if he don't baruch that home in a special manner. When we bought our home, this is how much Yahweh has baruched I and my wife to grow in love. I'm a man. I can live out of shoe bag. If I can make it on a park bench, I can make it anywhere. Anyway, we were getting home. I'm working. She had time to talk with the realtor and travel and do everything. I asked her one favor. I said, I don't care what you pick. Pick what you like. Do me a favor. Get me a home with a finished basement. I need to put an office in there. That way I can work for us and pay for it and do whatever. And no struggle. Just get me a finished basement. She went, picked out what she wanted. Said, I got something. I got something beautiful. I got this. It's got that. It's got this. It got that. If there's ever a time where you didn't hear something your wife was saying, it was at that moment. I ain't hear none of that. She was saying it. I wasn't listening. I just heard we got the home. I trust her judgment in Yahweh so well. I never saw it until the day we went to closing. I trusted her judgment. She described it to me. She told me what she had, everything else. They opened the door. We went in. Nothing in there. I sat down on the floor, center of the living room. I sat down and I prayed before Yahweh and I thanked him. And I got up. And the lady said, where would you like to go first? I said, I'm going downstairs. I went down that basement and immediately I lost sight of everything else because in my mind, I'm going to put my desk here. I'm going to put a bookcase there. I'm going to put this over there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I can look at blueprints and drawings. I can practice everything. I can do. All right, let's go upstairs. Lady said, you got furnace heat over here. You got this over here. You got that over there. The basement was it. And I've been happy in it ever since. I prayed in it. I thanked Yahweh for it. And I dedicated it to Yahweh. I learned in everything that I get, I pray over it and I dedicate it to Yahweh. I give it right back to Yahweh. And that's what I learned to do. Nothing fancy, nothing special. I know ministers and people, different ones, they live in homes 10 times better than mine. I'm just as happy with my little box. I thank you. Only thing I've done, a little neighbor next door, that's another story. But I thank y'all. He make it difficult to love your neighbor as yourself. So again, sometimes you just gotta kind of like, you understand, don't bother me, I won't bother you. I see him, I look this way. But I thank Yahweh, even in the midst of that, because it teaches me how to pray. It keeps me grounded. It teaches me how to remember myself, how to conduct myself before people. And from time to time, you have to stop, Yisrael, before you bless yourself, seek forgiveness for yourself. That's what we have to learn to do. We as brothers and y'all, we got to learn as men. We're not always right. We as men, we got to learn. The woman, he didn't make her now as the mat. You stand on her. Remember now, they started off, they had equal authority. Just different jobs. One messed up, got a demotion. And he said, your desire now should be to your husband. He should rule over me. In other words, now I'm putting him in charge now. Now, since you messed this up, he's got to answer to me for both of you, for the household. So when understood in its proper context, a decision has to be made. Compare the family to a horse real quick. You ever watch the horse? Horse is big, it's majestic, got long legs, it's muscular. And I don't think they work out at Planet Fitness, but they're just muscular, right? But it's only got one head, right? One head, 4 legs, well, and that head, stop, do some thinking. Them 4 legs get to going at the same, make that horse go. But the tail don't be making none of the decisions, right? The hoofs don't make none of the decisions. The belly, only the head. So in Yahweh, if we're going to be the head, we got to strive to be right. It doesn't come natural now. He put it in Adam. It was natural. And when you really study what Yahweh did with him, and then look at how man got the computer design, you look up and say, this is amazing. The computer is designed after the brain. The computer only can do what the programmer put in it. So if Yah is the programmer and we are the computer, look at what he put in Adam in the beginning. He said everything that he named was the name thereof. They were so well knit together that he automatically knew, I'm going to name that, well, in the English, I'm saying, that's a cow, that's a horse, that's a monkey. And just, whatever he named it, Yahweh was, because they were one. You hear me? That's how it went. The moment he got independent and started trying to do this and that and the other on his own, his hardwiring went awry. It malfunctioned. And like them old TVs from the 70s, every now and then, you had to hit it. Yahweh got to hit us sometime to make us act right. And ain't that what Ofo used to call it that, didn't he? All right now, don't keep on playing there. I'll come there and give you some act right. Remember that? And then when you get it, I'm going to do right. Remember that? All right. Well, that's what Yahweh has to do to us. As men in Yahweh, ain't no harm in crying. Sometimes it's stuck on, but now look. I don't mean no you breaking down in the middle of the street crying. Oh, she took my tennis shoes, man. I ain't talking that, brothers. Cry out to Yahweh the way a thing goes. Some of this stuff touch you. I ain't gonna lie, and I'm not ashamed. Some of this stuff touched me, hurts me so bad to see how Yahweh laid it out for us. So easy, so simple, so plain. And you see us just keep messing it up. Yes, it make you cry, just like it made Jeremiah cry. But that didn't make him weak. And you know what's so interesting about being able to cry as men in Yisrael? I don't want to hear that old John Wayne crap. A man ain't supposed to cry. I don't want to hear that. Because my question to that type of smartass is, if that were true, why is it then Yahweh gave him tear ducts? And if that ain't enough of a conclusion, if you've ever been slapped or caught off guard, sometimes it can slap the water up out of you real quick. Am I lying? Brothers, come on, talk to me. Am I lying? You ever did that? My grandmother slapped my head one day. I was in the store doing something. Pat! Oh, the water came out. I ain't even turned for it. It came out. Now you want to do right, but you can't stop crying. Now you don't even know why you crying. You gotta get it. Unlike the little fake killer. Y'all seen him on the news. Oh my goodness. He couldn't even get it. Oh, come on, man. Kyle Rittenhouse, that's his name. Oh, you could, come on, man. Come on now. You ain't getting no Academy Award, you ain't getting no Oscar. You kick him out the theater because there was bad acting. But at any rate, in Yahweh going to tear the fur off us as a nation. And we're going to learn to do well in Yahweh. We just, as a people, we really don't want to do it. Let's do this real quick. Let me get these scriptures in. You got to hear this. He hath violently taken away his tabernacle, verse 6, as if it were a garden. He hath destroyed his places of the assembly. Yahweh hath caused the solemn feasts and the Shabbats to be forgotten in Zion, and have despised in the indignation of his anger the king and the priest. So you see, we're in trouble now, right? We ain't got no kings today. We messed up as a nation. Our priests, they won't say anything. And I ain't talking about Father Tony with the allegations of 40 little boys or what have you. I ain't talking them. Yahweh hath cast off his altar and hath abhorred his sanctuary. What would make Yahweh abhor his sanctuary except the fact that we did not conduct ourselves properly? Where? In his sanctuary. He hath given up into the hand of the enemy the walls of her palaces. They had made a noise in the house of Yahweh as in the day of the solemn feast. And that's just what Nebuchadnezzar's army did. They came in and just rejoiced and tore the place down. Took all the precious things of Yahweh's house into their own. He stood back and allowed this because Yisrael would not do right. Yahweh had purposed to destroy the wall of the daughter of Zion. He had stretched out a line. He had not withdrawn his hand from destroying. Therefore, he made the rampart and the wall to lament. They all languished together. Her gates are sunk into the ground. He hath destroyed and broken her bars. Her kings and her princes are among the Gentiles. Where we at today? The law is no more. Her prophets also find what? No vision. Well, if there is no vision, wow. The elders of the daughter of Zion sit upon the ground and keep silence. They have cast dust upon their heads. They have girded themselves with sackcloth. The virgins of Jerusalem hang down their heads to the ground. Poor little daughters in Yisrael, they're not married now. But some of the sisters that are marriage material now, guess what? They can't find husband material. Polo sisters, and that's not the mark on the door. This is a reflection on the nation as a whole. Okay? So when we look at this, I want you to understand that the spirit of purity upon the whole nation compared to that of a virgin, guess what? Look at how we are. We're embarrassed. Mine eyes do fail with tears. My bowels within me are troubled. My liver is poured upon the earth for the destruction of the daughter of my people, because the children and the suckling swoon in the streets of the city. Now, what does swoon mean? Yeah, like an addict today, right? You ever seen that? Yes. 14, 15-year-old, we can get in the car and go right down the avenue right now and look at that. Young things, babies, just tore during the coronavirus pandemic. North and Pennsylvania Avenue was the market. It came alive. Nobody wore a mask. Nobody went in the house. It was 24/7. It was jumping. In the streets, high as a kite, or low as the gutter, however you want to look at it. We, as Yahweh's people, we suffer. Let's do this real quick. Let's go back. I want you to hear something Daniel said. Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. I want you to hear something Daniel said, because, see, the testimony of our fathers stands against us to this day. Daniel 9:7. O Yahweh, righteousness belongeth unto you. See where you put the righteousness? But unto us confusion of faces, as at this day. To the men of Yehudah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Yisrael that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither thou hast driven them, because of their trespasses, they have trespassed against you. O Yahweh, to us belongeth confusion of face. See how Yisrael is today? We don't know how to come out of some of the conditions we're in. We have been so confused. We don't know what to do. Confusion of face. To our kings, to our princes, to our fathers. Why? Because we have sinned against you. To Yahweh our Elohim belongeth mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. See how he's still merciful? Look, let's understand this now. Don't take Yahweh's mercy as a given where you can just keep doing what you want to do and get the mercy too. That's not how it works. You got to acknowledge your sin. Jeremiah 3, I think he says, only acknowledge thine iniquity and thy transgression. That's what he said. Only just acknowledge it. Then he goes in the next verse and says, turn, O backsliding children of Yisrael, for I am married unto you. This is what a good husband does. Now, he can talk to his wife. He ain't got to beat her up. He can talk to her now. So, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this the way that scripture says this, that, and the other. Now, daughters of Yah, correct me if I'm wrong. A real man, a man in Yah, it's a certain amount of strength. There's an aura or a display of righteous manliness that speaks from the very presence of a man of Yah. Am I correct? Yes. So that when married to such a man, a woman looks to that now. That's her guidance. That's her parting factor there. That's the head of household. He's the guide. He's the strength. He's the protection. They look to that. He can't have that on his own, now can he? That has to come from Yahweh. So the beauty now, he puts something back on the mother. He says to the sons, my son, forsake not the law of thy mom. You mean tell me mom ain't gonna know something about the Torah? That means she got to grab the book now preaching to the children in the house? Is that the way it's done? Or is she the one who imparts that tender loving kindness of the Torah, or that masculine feminine aspect of it? She imparts her side of that within the household. You hear what I say? Not guiding him to a point now. She loved him up so much now he 47 still on the couch. I ain't talking that kind of nurturing. I'm talking that a woman, a daughter of Yah, that has drawn that type of strength from a man of Yah, imparted upon the wife, Therefore, Yahweh said he put two together that he may make a righteous seed. Am I correct? Malachi chapter 2. See, unless Yisrael knows stuff like this, we'll struggle on till Yahshua come. We'll be getting wiped out generation after generation because nobody really wants to turn from transgression. We just want the blessing of being his people. We want the blessing of being globally recognized. Now ain't the time to get recognized. I'm telling you what I know. Now really ain't the time. You know why I know now ain't the time? Because, see, you want them to recognize you now. Look, true story. I don't even care if the brother get mad. This is a true story. I know a brother, he posted some stuff on Facebook. He going to rebuke the sisters for the way they dress. He got down on them and all this. And he was right. The post he put up was the truth. But the women jumped out there and beat him so bad, he shut that post down. He retracted everything he said and ran and told me about it. I'm thinking, you shouldn't have told me. Because, see, don't get in no fight if you can't handle it. I come down the hill from school one day, my cousin getting his coat taken. 7 of them, 1 of him. I come down the hill, I stayed late at school, I look, they whooping the wheels off somebody. Come on down. I look over there, it's Charles. Whoa! No, y'all ain't. I get in it. Charles? I took a whooping. But when I went home, I had his coat. I may have took that whooping, but I consider that a win. And that's why I don't get in if you ain't intending to win. So the women jumped on him. He couldn't handle it. He ran. I ain't never had nobody run me off no Facebook post that I put up. I don't put a lot of y'all's word out there like that on social media. I put stuff up to catch the little people's attention and draw them in sometime or something funny just for say, look at that. But I ain't talking to Hebrews. Because most of the people out there, they don't understand the word like that. You got to show them politically the system falling, economically, this, that, and other, show them the injustice, different things. Then you talk about it and you ease the word into people. That's how I've always introduced people to the word of Yahweh. Because just going straight at somebody, hey man, Psalm 75 says this, that, and other. They be like, what? Man, you don't get out of my face. Because they don't know this. People have to be introduced to Yahweh. Now watch this, brothers. You meet a girl. Years down the road, she become your wife. Later on, she tells the story. It's embarrassing how y'all met, right? You told her cousin Pete or Frank or somebody, hey, man, that's your cousin, man. Look, man, introduce us, man. Hook us up. 30 years later, she's stuck with y'all in this hookup. She loves you, but she's stuck with you. But why don't we woo Yahweh like that? By just being obedient. It is a love story. He keeps referring to us as the bride. Why don't we get involved in the love story then? Ain't nothing more beautiful than a love story, right or wrong. It is the truth, man. A love story is a very touching thing, man. Stuff, man. I ain't even gonna tell it. Anyway, this is a love story. And Yisrael we're rebellious. We're acting like a harlot against Yahweh. And yet we ain't got nowhere to go. We don't even have a park and a bench. We got nowhere to go. We think Shaitan is an alternative. Y'all were going to whoop him. Anyway. Hear what Daniel says. You got to hear this now. Oh Yahweh, to us belong confusion of face, to our kings, our princes, our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. To Yahweh our Elohim belongeth mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahweh our Elohim to walk in his laws, which he set before us by his servants, the prophets. Yeah. Now look, take note of this verse. 9:1:1. Yeah, all Israel has transgressed thy law. No, maybe 1 or 2 have transgressed. All Israel has transgressed thy law. How? There you go, by departing. That they what?
Might not obey thy voice.
Therefore,
the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moshe, the servant of Yahweh.
Why?
Because we have sinned against him.
I think that speaks for itself. 911. If that ain't cause to get on your knees, that's an emergency call there. All right, y'all hear? That's the emergency call because we have sinned against it. Yahweh didn't sin against us. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spoke against us, and against our judges that judged us. by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven have not been done, as have been done upon Jerusalem. Isn't that something? This is unprecedented. So I don't hear about no Holocaust. Y'all can get mad at me for saying all you want. I don't give a damn. I don't want to hear about it. It was 11 years. How many people could you kill in 11 years in comparison to the 300 million of us that you all keep your best trying not to acknowledge? Anybody that's done any real showing of history on the triangular slave trade and tracked them numbers and did that mathematics and all that other stuff that go along with it, you come out with a figure somewhere around 300 million that you took and murdered and destroyed. 300 million. And our Holocaust still going on. Don't come up here talking to me about no 11-year white-on-white violence. I don't want to hear it. That's all it was. White-on-white violence. I don't have to be anti-Semitic. All I got to do is just tell the truth. It was white-on-white violence. White people saying they were the children of Israel. White people saying they were Aryans and the superior race, fighting over whatever it was they fighting over, and they dusted each other's boots. That's all there is to that. Okay? He's anti-Semitic. Everybody that correct them people, that's the only label you ever get. That's the only. See, you can't go buy a pair of Levi's and expect to have a Jordache label on the back. They Levi's, okay? So it's the same thing with them. You speak the truth, that you get that one label. He's anti-Semitic. Ain't nobody even came up there and came against you. Maybe one day we'll teach a lesson on what anti-Semitic really means so that the children of Israel don't keep on falling victim to it or privy to stuff like that. See, sometimes y'all will use people that it look like a fluke, but it's funny. For example, y'all will use a comedian to say the stuff that the preachers can't say. So now Dave Chappelle will come out banging off on the homosexuals, the bologna cheese, bologna cheese, the bologna cheese, LGBT, whatever, bacon, tomato, whatever they are. I don't even give a damn. But he used a comedian to come out, go up against them, to say stuff that the preacher's scared to say. What you scared to say? Look, Yahweh's word is confrontational. You gotta understand it. Don't go be a preacher and a chump. It don't add up. Be one or the other. See, if I say it, then I'm man enough to back it up. If I say I said it, you don't like it, come see me. When you come see me, I'm admitting I'm expecting a fight. So I'm gonna kind of go into my stance. Even though we might talk, I'm gonna be ready just in case. If I got to weave it or what have you, I'm coming back. See, they think we supposed to everybody be nonviolent. Don't come to me with nonviolent. Violence has a root word. And the root word is violate. So if you hit me, you violate the law of shalom. So me defending myself against you ain't violence. That's self-repellent. That's a bug repellent. These are bug repellents. You understand? You get them up out for you. So they teach you, don't you say this, that, and other. Now you anti-Semitic. Ain't nobody against you. But you against us, your hand is in on the ones that tried to murder us. You financed the ships. You put the insurance policies on. You benefited from it. You sent it down the line of your children. Only thing we sent down the line was our seed. More of us to be born and to be enslaved. Damn you. You get in my face with this, you better be ready for a fight. Because as long as y'all would keep me well and healthy and sound upon my feet, I don't have a problem with my hands or the sword. Or the modern day sword. Every preacher ain't gonna be no coward. So be a man of Yahweh. Go at him like David. Other than that, we might as well shut up. Because they'll come and shut you down. What you say that day, I ain't say nothing. No, wasn't me. I ain't Shaggy. If I said it, I said it. Anyway, send that to Chappelle. Let him know. Got another one. So here is an unprecedented event. Something took place under the whole heaven that took place nowhere else. Yahweh's people went into captivity. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil has come upon us. Yet we made not our prayer before Yahweh our Elohim, that we might turn from our iniquity. See, that's why Yahweh don't move for it. This is why we're embarrassed in front of the nations for our disobedience and hypocrisy. We still won't make our prayer to Yahweh. Everybody don't need to know all your business all the time. I ain't saying hide your sin. I'm saying everybody don't need to know all your business. Repent, get up off of that stupid stuff, and don't keep on going back to that. Okay, brothers, if you are a whoremonger and you get a fairly decent woman and she willing to walk with you, you now have a responsibility before not only her, but Yahweh to properly provide. And if any children come about of the scenario, you now have a double portion to stand and provide, because the scripture says if a man provide not for those of his own household, he is worse than an infidel. You're worse than an unbeliever. So I don't see why the children of Israel still can't make it in marriages and can't make it in relationships. Humble yourself. Look at each other. All right, you grow old together. You look up, oh man, my back hurts. She said, oh, my knee hurts. Okay, well, you crumple together. Okay, your back bent over, her knee hurts. You grab each other, you hop on wherever you got to go. Wiggle on down to the altar and pray together. Say, all right, now look, my back hurting, my bad back. When I get up straight, I'm going to pull you up off that bad knee. We're going to make it. Before long, you done prayed, Yahweh done laughed in the heavens and had mercy, and you walking down the street straight and upright. Your back ain't hurting, her knee ain't hurting. He can do that. We just... I've seen people in my lifetime, in the name of Yahweh. True story. Just every week. It's like they were trying to find a dilemma for Yahweh that he could not solve. Every damn week, you got a new dilemma. Ain't no problems in this world new to Yahweh. He knows what we gonna go through. We be, Yahweh got a problem. I bet you can't solve this one. Because if you can't solve that, I ain't praying no more. Yeah. That's us. We get on Yahweh's nerves too. You ever, come on, you ever get on grandma's nerves so bad, grandma, look, boy, she can't even get the words out. Get over there. Well, Yahweh did that for Yisrael because we did that. We got on our Abba's nerves. Then he turned right around, he looked up. My poor, stupid little children. Look at, these poor babies. Let me help. Now, before y'all get offended that I called us stupid, I didn't say it. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 20. I remember I was preaching down D.C. one time, and I said that. And it was Elder Mother in the building when I said, yeah, y'all always said we stupid. She was like, and I realized at that precise moment, that's a woman. I think as soon as I come out this pulpit, she gonna get me. So I had to go back into Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 22, and I had to quote it, kind of like ease it in. Not that I was taking down or laying mother's fear, but I was really trying to stave off a woman. That day, you never hear them days you really don't feel like getting whooped. See, the ancient of days, the apostles, they got beat up for the word, you know. So I had this joke, not a joke, but I had this little sense of humor with the deacon and the minister, and they preach real well, and they do a nice sermon. I said, boy, that was a beautiful sermon. I ought to take you out back and just whoop you. Because they beat the apostles up when they preached the truth. I was preaching in D.C. one time. Mother Murphy, she said to me, she said, boy, that was a beautiful message. I ought to take y'all back and put a whooping on you. And she explained it. She said, they beat the apostles up. So I love you. I'm glad to hear that word. I ought to whoop you. And it was comical in the sense of love that she had never seen a young preacher. Back then, I was like 27, 28, fairly young minister then. And the beauty of it, I wasn't trying to set no records being young back then and all this. That young brother Dave brought to my attention a while back. He young. He trying to be the first Hebrew Israelite bishop and all this other stupid stuff. I really feel sorry for the brother in the sense that none of them elders in Yahweh down there have yoked him up and said anything to him. See, I don't have a problem. I've been in several meetings year after year. He was in the meeting. Now, John, let me get your phone number. I got to get your phone number. And I called on one year and I got tired of keep on giving you my phone number. You scared to call me. Because you know I'm going to say it straight. So I broke all that up one year. Man, come on, that crap. I give you my number every time. You don't never call me. You ain't trying to talk to me. Man, please. And I walked away. Now, I did it for a dramatic effect to let them know. If you do have a number and you call me, just call me. I ain't going to do them. A lot of people are afraid of me. And they think I'm going to jump out the pulpit. No, I just learned over the years. Don't sugarcoat Yahweh's word for his people. Give them the word straight, no chaser, because that's what'll help them. That's what'll push them into the kingdom, right? Old Western days, cowboy gets shot. They did not pour Kool-Aid on the wound, right? They gave him straight alcohol. Here, drink this. Go up on it. That's nasty. Good, give it back. He give it to the doctor. Doctor, pour it on the wound. Now, oh! But doc pull that bullet out. He lay there in the bed and fever, blisters, or whatever else come on, all that. And then he back up shooting again for the end of the movie, right? Well, that was really how they did that. So Yahweh's word is the same way. Yahweh's word is our healing. It is our medicine. And though we might not like what the preacher say, I've been through it. That's how I can preach the way I preach. My father used to preach on crime and sin and hustlers in the community. I was a pool shark. I thought I was pretty good at it. Yeah. I was good enough. We can say, man, look, you stay out here. You keep the motor running. I'm going in here. I'm going to win. I'll be ready. When you see me come out, go. That good. Anyway, my father would preach. And he would slam down on stupid stuff in the street that I would do. Now, this is me having given up the streets and come back to the assembly of Yahweh. And I was thinking, like most of us are thinking, that preach the word, brother, just don't preach on me. I forgot who I was thinking that to. My father didn't give a flying squirrel who you were. The word was the word. And I thank Yahweh for it. So he preached on stupid stuff I did. He wasn't nowhere around. And I'm like, oh man, there he go again. Now he got to be preaching on me. And that's the only thing gonna make you get right. He ain't even know. Y'all may reveal something what happened. He just preaching what he preaching like he's supposed to preach it. Like you supposed to preach it, like anybody preaching, preach it. The word of Yahweh will heal us or it'll kill us. I thank Yahweh, it healed me. So you got to tell us the same thing. You know, you got to deliver the word. And the old man would preach, and I'd be sitting off to his left at the corner seat. I always took the front row corner seat. He'd preach something, and he'd go. And he'd be up there wailing away like he was at a baseball game with a bat. But at the end of the day, you sit down and think about the most stupid sins and all that old dumb stuff you did. You can stay out there and hang out in the club till 5 o'clock in the morning. Then gonna rush home, clean up, and show up in the temple at 11 o'clock like you some great one. And I'm thinking, how he know that? Because it was about 5 o'clock when Odell was let out. I went home, got a couple hours sleep, but he banged off on it so bad, my little club license or wherever I had in there, all that, my investment in it, I'm done. Out on club, I couldn't, dang got no rhythm to this day. He preached it out of me. He rebuked that evil spirit and that desire to be out there in the street. I never was a ladies' man. My wife, she'd tell you, I ain't never had no rap. I wasn't that kind. I wasn't no player. I ain't had no rap. I saw her when I was 14. I told one of the bosses, I said, hey, see her right there? He said, what? I said, she loved me. He said, what? I said, yeah, she loved me. I can tell by the way she walked. I'm just talking trash. He said, man, shut up. I got up and walked right down the desk. Stood over top of her. Hey, what's your name? She looked at me like I was crazy. I said, boy, you better get out of my face with your big feet and get off my desk. True story. Here we are now. From 14 to 56. So I don't know how long ago that was, but here we are. Hallelujah. 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 And I bring this up to say, you learn to love each other. You listen to me on this as I wrap up. Stop expecting to fall in love. You ever seen people fall in love? Or you want to see people who've fallen in love? If you want to see people who have fallen in love, I'll tell you where to go. Divorce court. See, falling is not a good thing. I went out Mondana Mall one time, had a little Toyota truck, big suspension lift on it one time. The parking lot was icy. I slipped and fell. And walking, I saw all the cars. Then I saw a sky. Then I saw the transaxle and the differential. And I saw the, what you call that thing on there? The running board. Didn't realize the whole time I slipped and fell and was sliding under it. So I grabbed the running board real quick. That's how icy it was. Fall is a bad thing. When a tree falls, especially if it falls on you, it's a bad thing. Fall off a cliff. It's a bad thing. I fell off a scaffold one time, 35 feet straight to the ground. I learned something that day. You come down fast, and the ground comes up quick too. Falling is a bad thing. So you don't want to fall in love. You come together in love, you grow in love. Yeah. You want to be like a tree that's planted by the water. A tree right there with that water, it's assured that it will grow. A tree will stretch its roots out, get closer to the water. A tree will bust your water pipe and everything. It's living just to get water. Your growth in Yahweh, your love for one another, your love of Yahweh, your love of His word, your love of each other as Yisrael should be just like that. So don't be falling in love. Grow in love. That's what Yahweh wants us as a nation to do. You ain't got to be putting on no air, all of those strutting. Yeah, it's me. I love her. She loved me back. You watch people like they be behind closed doors, they beat the hell out of each other. They don't even like each other. Separate bedrooms and all that old stuff. Yahweh didn't separate Yisrael like that until we got out of hand. He put His bride away. You hear me? We have to know that. Jeremiah, real quick. 5:3, he says, O Yahweh, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. See how Yahweh, He keeps embarrassing Israel because of our disobedience and our hypocrisy. You see the pattern of the relationship here? He rebukes us. And Yahweh hit us and we refuse to grieve. We have all these social problems. We arguing, going back and forth with each other in our homes, on the job. We got no peace, no safety, no sanctity, nowhere. And we keep blaming Yahweh. But yeah, we keep trying to cling to Him, saying we're His people. Listen. You better off taking the chance. No, I better not say that. Somebody try their hand now. Let me clean that up. I'll say it this way. Somebody that never knew Yahweh and didn't claim Him has a better chance of waking up one day, seeing everything in this book and just simply striving to do it than somebody who's claiming this way of life and do any and everything they want to. Can you imagine Yahshua and the apostles together? And then He just pull out a backwoods and hand that to Peter real quick. Take care of that. Be right back. And he jump over here and start teaching the people. And when he done, he go back over here. Peter done rolled up one. And they puffing. It's unbelievable, right? We can't even imagine anything like that about Hamashiach. So then for our brothers, they got to smoke the weed to relate. And what's being brought to my attention, a lot of them, they like to do that on Shabbat. You can't draw close to Yahweh. Like you have invited all sorts of spirits in. If you study the spirit realm, this stuff gets sprayed and laced with stuff now. Make your mind all open. You open up yourselves to the influx of all manner of spirit, and you think you right. You think you the greatest messenger since the coming of Yahshua. This is the type of stuff we going through. And don't nobody bring it to our attention and say, man, you got to stop that nonsense. So if you got to keep on going to jail, you go ahead. Therefore I said, surely these are poor. They are foolish. For they have not known the way of Yahweh, nor the judgment of their Elohim. I will get me unto the great men, and I will speak unto them. For they have known the way of Yahweh, and the judgment of their Elohim. But these have altogether broken the yoke, and burst the bonds. He's talking about this generation where they ain't listening to the law of Yahweh. They done broke the yoke, broke the bond, they done went on about their business. Which is why over here in Jeremiah 4:22, he says, for my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are stupid children. They have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. You tell me that don't fit the lifestyle of today's modern Hebrew Israelite? This is why the world mocks us. This is why the FBI got dossiers and all sorts of stuff on the assemblies of Yahweh. And we have no weapon or methodology to even fight back. You know how many Police and investigators we done had right here in this little assembly right here since we've been here since 2013. And not a single one of them y'all would let come in and escape our understanding that they were what they were. You conduct your little investigating. If you stay with me and in running and investigating, you stay here under this type of teaching, stay here 6 months or more. I guarantee we'll beat all the desire to be an investigator, a police officer, work for. I'll beat all of that out of you. I done had them in here where somehow we had to preach to them and know what they were and run them up out of here when it's all said and done. What are you looking for? What evidence of what crime? What are you looking for? We simply strive and want to keep Yahweh's will. And I tell you what we've learned over the years. We have what the world calls the most perfect, boring lives. That's Don's good. I work like everybody else. I got to get up and go to work. I come home. I'm home with my wife. I ain't got to run the streets. I ain't got to get in no club. I ain't got to do no secret tryst, meet up with nobody. I go to work, go home, and happy to go home. I go there. I'm glad to see that little woman. I go there. She glad to see me. Praise Yah. Hey, woman, where you at? I'm over here, man. Praise Yah. Good to see you. I missed you. I missed you too. My little grandson, the same thing. Running to the door. Hey, pop, pop. Man, buddy, old pal, I missed you. I'm like, what you want? But that's how it should be. So the nations are watching everything Yahweh's little children do. I was sitting and reading a book one day about the intelligence community and how New York State Police Department had an intelligence unit where they were trained by the Central Intelligence Agency. They were reaching all the way up and down the East Coast, monitoring the assemblies of Yahweh, looking for something. Yeah, looking for, I forget the name of the book. I can pull it out. I can see it in my mind's eye at the house now. But at any rate, I never forget reading that. Because at the time that I was reading that, we were fighting them here with this airplane with the cameras, the eye in the sky thing and all that. And I was at the front of that fighting against because we knew what it was. And we kept saying, look, it ain't that we doing any crime. We just don't need to be monitored by you. We know the devil coming. We know that all this stuff is taking place. But the key here for us is Yahweh's people. We don't fear them people. We don't pay them people no mind. We love each other. We love Yahweh's people. We love his children. And we're going to do the way Yahweh commands that we do. Always love each other. Always look out for one another. Always cover each other. More importantly, pray for one another. And do not faint at the rebuke of Yahweh. As we did earlier, we raised our hands and asked for something. Because you didn't get it, don't mean you ain't going to get it. Serve Yahweh. Don't lose sight of the hope of Yahweh. Look each other in the eye. Be able to love and honor each other. I do apologize. I've gone a little over. My time has gotten away from me. Nevertheless, I told Yah for the presence of dear family in Yisrael, dear elder and mother that have come to visit with us today. We told Yah for you here, your presence to travel. May Yah be with you all. Make sure you greet the dear family. Make them feel at home. You're not a guest. You're Yah's people. You're home here. Many of you that are online that have viewed, that have written letters, that have desired to come, you come here, you'll be surprised. A little bitty place here. We ain't nothing big, nothing grand, nothing fancy, just a little bit of people of Yahweh, just like you all. Yahweh's assembly, the door here swings on welcome hinges to all of Yahweh's children. We just simply want to be saved. What you see is what you get. There's no false airs, no super duper califragilistic expiator, none of that crap. It's just, I don't even know what that means. Strike that from the record. Anyway, but nothing, it's just us. We love each other. We gather. We simply strive to obey Yah. We look up from time to time. We see each other. We miss one another. Some of you were here last night. Some didn't come out. Whatever. We look up. We miss one another because I'm going to tell y'all an honest to goodness truth. I know a lot of people all around this state. And I've traveled up and down the country in different places. I know a lot of people, but I really do mean this. I don't have no friends. I don't have nobody that I really groove with like that, as they say. I have a family. Y'all. Yahweh's people. That's all I have. I know people day in, day out. I work with people different ones. Hey, man, come on over my house, man. Come on. No, man, I'm all right, man. Thank you, man. I'm going on home. Go to my house. Because I've learned even by houses. Everybody house, all old people house. You know what? You're going to do the same stuff in your house that I do in my house. Think about it. You got a toilet in there, don't you? You got a bed in there, right? You sit down in there, right? And you're going to go sleep in there, right? I can do all that at home. There's a family reunion coming. Let me give you all the date for this. You don't want to miss this family reunion. And I take this little bit of authority in the name of Yahweh to extend the invitation to all of you to come out to this family reunion hosted by Yahshua. And y'all willing, I'll see each and every one of you there. If I never see you ever again in life, there's a family reunion coming.
Hallelujah.
As Darren Muhammad say, don't meet me there. Beat me there. Listen, may the precious mercies of Yah abide with you all. They've given me the signal that they're ready for you all in the dining hall. And at this time, Yisrael, let's simply stand. We'll close in prayer. What a day. Hallelujah. Abba Yah, we turn to you for the precious gift of our lives, our health and strength. We turn to you for the beautiful nature of the family of Yisrael. Touch our hearts and minds, Abba Yah, that we may be able to, in all sincerity, drop all of our wicked, evil ways, that we may walk up before you in a manner that's clean, honorable, and acceptable in your sight. If there be any among us, Abba Yah, that are sick, that are downtrodden in the spirit or in the body, cast off all manner of sickness, germs, disease, infestations, fevers, flu, whatsoever it may be. Rebuke all the illnesses thereof, but touch the hearts and minds of your people. Turn them completely unto you and unto Yahshua HaMashiach, that we will be found in that great day as a people without spot or without wrinkle. And at the end of our days, Abba Yah, please have the essential mercy upon us, that we may be granted a peaceful entry into the greatness of that kingdom to come, where we will dwell with you forever and ever. And may the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart be acceptable in our sight, O Yahweh, our strength and our Redeemer. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Happy Sabbath unto you all, Yisrael.
Shalom.